Oh, here you go. Go. Good?
That's a big fish.
Full hand on tail. Yeah, looks sick. Good deal.
Look how broad that thing is.
I wonder if that was the one that followed me in.
Beautiful. Oh my. That's a big
That's a
fish.
big fish, dude. Limp! That's what I've been waiting for all day.
That's over 6.
Felt that bite.
Damn, I think low and slow is the way to go, eh, baby?
First big of the year on.
The thing I'm about to tie on.
Get him, get him.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Calm down. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here.
Oh, yeah, dude!
Dude.
6 pounds, 11 ounces.
Oh my god, please get the net. Please, 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 please get the net.
I got you, buddy. Oh my god. I got you.
That was the weirdest bite ever. Oop. That was a good one? Yep.
Sure, feels like it.
Sure is.
I can't turn her head, bud. Holy sh! What the? Is that another 6?
Could be.
The second giant of the day, proving that point. Oh, oh my god! Oh my god! Big baits, big fish. There we go, 5 pounds, 6 ounces. Beauty! Let's go. Got him. Get in here, you. There's another 6. You. That's a big fish.
6'10". Woohoo! Little fatty.
Oh my god.
If I can land this fish.
Holy sh! 5.06. Sick. Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy sh! God. What a beast. Dude, that's it, that's it! I'm like 4 pounds smaller. I need a picture. Sorry.
Oh wow. That might be a 4. That might be a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4. You guys show that off too. 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Holy. Trailer's what's getting it done. Yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, that's unbelievable. That's a 4.
He's still swimming.
There we go. That's a big fish. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes! 414 though. Gee. Not too shabby.
Like 2 years ago.
How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Hopefully, microphones and audio and everything are kosher. Be really embarrassing if it wasn't, but it looks like we're good. You just never know with these things. How's everybody doing? Let me know. Make sure the audio sounds good across the board.
We all have mustaches.
Mustache. That's true. A mustache, quite like my father's mustache.
Mustachio.
Today we're going to talk about mustaches.
Today
wants a
you're
mustache
taking
ride?
a ride on a. I'm just kidding.
Remember the one I had last year?
The ride?
No,
I wanted to on that thing. Jesus.
that was a good one.
Yeah, you had the whole curl and everything.
Sounds good. Thank you, Kevin. MD, fall, we're in the middle of a heat wave. Yeah, you're not wrong. However, you know, it's New England. Give it 4 more days and we're all going to be freezing our butts off because that's just how it goes. I don't know if it's going to be 4 more days, but you know what I mean.
I walked out of my house at 7:30 and it was already dark. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Does that person know the exact weight of the smallmouth that you caught on the intro video?
Wait, what? Where'd you see that?
Kevin.
Oh, because this one, belly on that 412 that Andrew caught on Champlain is the best. Because we did a video on that one. So, we you know, when we catch big fish like that, we always say the weight.
It says it in the intro.
What?
It's on that. There's like a little.
Says
Oh,
it.
yeah, actually, you're right. I'm sorry. I did leave that audio in there. Well, I don't know. You just never know. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for joining tonight. As always, we're joined by our buddy DJ, 3D Fishing. Andrew, obviously, and then our buddy Dennis, who this is your third time you've been here.
Every time. This has got to be like my 12th time here. And like every time, third time.
That will be the running gag from now on. Every time you come here, is this your third time
This is
here?
my third time.
Because I've said that the last like 3 times you've been here.
I think this is actually my third time.
I think you're right.
I think it is.
It might actually be, though.
This is my third time here.
Third time for everybody. Oh, Panda, hey, bud. You know what? Let's sound off on the chat because it's been a while since I've gone through it. Ryan, Kevin, Dave, Mike, Kevin, again. Crazy Hickbait, it's Jason, Dave, Brandon, Gordy, MD, David, Mike, Little Rich, Pittsburgh Angler, Mark there, Northeast Bass Fishing, Dogbone. Who else? Kevin, I think I got you. The other Kevin, our buddy Jason, the Bass and Panda. Oh, man. Everybody. Alec and Sean Miller. Hey, friend. And Ben. Ben's here, too. So, before we get started, for everybody that's here, obviously, 1, thank you very much. 2, if you could do a favor, drop a like on the stream if you haven't done so. It helps immensely. One of the things I want to talk about while they're talking about tattoos and stuff, I'm the only person in this room that doesn't have a tattoo. And I still find it amazing that you have a full sleeve.
Almost.
Oh, it's pretty damn
My whole
close.
leg's done.
Yeah, but I've known that forever. Like,
okay.
whenever I see him, he's always wearing a sun shirt like this, long sleeve.
spring.
And then one day I see him in a short sleeve. I'm like, where did those come from? He's like, I've had them for like 10 years.
Look at these tan lines, dude.
Oh my God.
That's actually...
You can't even see the outline of my tattoo on this. Like, it's so white.
It's the first like bigger tattoos I got like here and here. It was literally because of that, because I had such ridiculous tan lines that it was like now it won't matter because I'm just gonna cover it up with color.
Arm tattoos is because of the
you
chef
just get
world.
burns.
Yeah. All my tattoos.
He doesn't
stay
cut
down
himself
here.
like an emo chick. He just burns himself like a man.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. So, one of the things I do want to bring attention to, for those that end up listening to this on Spotify, I will be caught up as of Saturday. So, last week's is already done. I'm going to post that tomorrow. Tonight's show I'm going to post on Saturday. And every Saturday moving forward is when this will go up on Spotify. I did have a request for Apple podcasts, and dude, it was hard enough for me to get going on Spotify, and has continued to be a thorn in my side to keep up with it. So I'm doing the best I can to make it more accessible everywhere else. So we will see what I can do. But on the plus side, I'll be caught up on Spotify here on Saturday, and every Saturday moving forward, it'll be live at 5 a.m. So I was thinking about that. I was like, if I have it go live at 5, maybe I'll bump it to 4 a.m. Then it's just there for people that go out fishing on the weekends, especially like, guys going out for tournaments and stuff. I was like, well, actually, that would actually work out pretty well, because then I could hit like a lot of the anglers that are, on their way out to go fishing for the day.
Good idea.
Give that a shot. See how it goes. I'm not sure it's really going to matter. It's kind of the beauty of Spotify, right? It makes it super convenient and accessible at your own leisure. We'll see. Holy bass panel. It's we might have to crack the door a little bit. I do have the air conditioner and a giant fan running in the other room to keep it cool in here, because there's my whole PC in the background with two 27-inch monitors. There's two 40-inch monitors we're looking at. There's two 24-inch square freaking studio lights back there. There's a lot of heat generation.
You can open the door so it just goes right in front of Sean. That's
just like that. I don't know if it's going to pick up on the mics though, so I'm trying to play it careful. But yeah, tonight we're going to talk about heavy gear and finesse gear going into fall fishing, because we're going to be, yes, it's 90-something degrees out here in New England. It's disgusting. We all hate it, but that's why we live in New England, right?
I don't know about you guys, but I love the heat.
ugh.
Oh, it's awesome.
I don't necessarily mind the
I want
heat.
my day to be, when I want to go out on the water, I want it to be high sun, 100 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, high pressure. Like, that's my ideal
as
circumstance.
bad as it could possibly be.
The
Because,
worst,
see,
the
that's
worst
why,
conditions
because everybody
for
up
everyone
here-
else is the best for him.
That's what I will come into that tournament and be like, oh, what happened? Everybody's like, oh, I didn't do good. And I was like, oh, I got 25 pounds. I don't know what you guys are doing.
I was punching 7-ounce weights through 3
Exactly.
feet of grass.
Exactly.
Well, that's why I wanted to do this topic tonight, and that's why we have DJ and Dennis. Because DJ is, for those that don't know him, don't follow him, he is like all about super shallow water, super heavy gear fishing. And Dennis, especially lately, because we just had him on for the BFS topic, like very, very, very happy in that super finesse realm. So Andrew and I kind of live in between the two of those things. They're on the opposite ends of those extremes. So I was like, you know what? This actually be a good time to like really discuss that, especially right now, because we're in that between that season where you could just as easy to go out and BFS fish or drop shot with 5-6 pound line for deep water smallies, and then turn around, run to the bank with an 8-foot broomstick and 80-pound braid and punch what the building grass mats. So at this point, some grass mats are probably starting to disperse. We got to be close to that point, but there's still tons of thick vegetation to be had for the next few weeks. And as the bass start pushing up, like you could do one or the other. You could literally do both of them at the same time, probably for the next 3-4 weeks, depending upon where you are in New England. So this is a very appropriate time for this topic. And it's going to be probably driven a lot by not only us, but also a lot from the chat, from any questions you guys have, like whatever you want to throw at us. So that's kind of what I had in mind for this night. What were you trying to...
This past weekend, thanks to Dennis, I got a BFS set up now, and I absolutely love it. After that first fish, it was like, oh yeah, this is great. I was like, oh, it's actually a decent fish. It was like maybe a pound.
Yep.
And then I went from throwing 5-pound line with this teeny tiny little jig to throwing a 100-pound braid with a 10-inch glide.
Yes.
It's quite different.
That's how, like, this time of year, my boat is literally set up. I've got 3 spinning rods on one side, and I've got 3 essentially punching rods on the other side. That's really it. Maybe I'll have a jig rod or a topwater, but, like, I've got all my drop shot gear and deep water finesse stuff because I like to fish that edge. But at the same time, if I see something up shallow, I've got my punching rod and my frog rod right there. This time of year, that's what my boat looks like anyways.
My boat always looks like a disaster. I just bring everything I own. Just sprawling all out back. I don't know what they're going to eat today. Let's give it a shot.
Rolling with 16 rods.
Pretty much.
I have all the other
to be
rods.
prepared. What can I say?
I'll make one cast with each one until I get a bite.
That's like the summertime grind for me. Like, my boat will look like, how many rods did you have out? Literally all of them. Every single one.
I only used 3, but I had all of them just in case. That's
No,
us
I
on
used
like
all of them.
9 times out of 10. We bring like everything we own and we pick up 3 rods for the day. But you know
It's
what?
usually
We weren't
2
sure
to 3 rods.
if that was really going to happen.
Usually jig, jerkbait, and glide, and then maybe something like super finesse on a spinning setup.
Yeah, because a yard sale.
See, Jason knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, let's roll right into it. Actually, we got a good question from MD. Switch rods. Throw your own favorite baits. Who would have a better day? Oh,
that's literally impossible to answer because it depends on conditions. It depends on the lake. There's so much. I've literally had days where I could go out and drop shot on the same lake and then go up shallow in 2 foot of water and then go punch mats all day and have 20 pounds as well. So it just conditions, there's too much factors to say who could do better and when.
all 4 of us are extremely well-rounded fishermen,
right.
So I don't think it would really matter. And that's the beauty of why I
all
like
show
having
up
the
with the
4 of
same
us
weight.
because we're all extremely well-versed. Yeah, I think... Wait, you left-handed, Reels?
I'm always left-handed because of my flipping and punching. I got into that. That's why.
And the rest of us are right-handed, Reels?
Mm-hmm.
So if we all switched, he would do the worst and I would do the second worst.
Yeah, but I'm a lefty, so I could probably figure it out.
But I'm I'm right-handed.
I said, I
So
can't reel with my left hand
I
at all.
have 2
to save my
right-hand
life.
reels in my boat too.
Oh, okay. All right. I would do the worst. Every time I pick up a left-handed reel, I feel like a little kid. I went fishing with Oliver and Riley when we were up on Champlain, and I only brought 2 rods because, yeah, pretty much.
You're like going,
That's accurate.
That's exactly how it feels.
I only brought 2 rods with me. I brought a jig
Only person
and I
ever
brought
backlash while
swim bait
reeling.
rod because we had those Golden Belt Customs that he was like, let's fish these. I'm like, I will grind that out. And I got 1 bite, and it was abysmal in that session. So I was like, oh man, I wish I brought something. They're like, oh, we get a jackhammer tying it right there. I was like, oh sweet. And I pick it up. I'm like, it's on the wrong side.
No.
They're like, just figure it out. So like casting is okay, but then reeling, yeah, it's like felt like I was reeling in through a square. I was like, this, I can't do this. It just didn't feel right.
I would say I'm very proficient and ambidextrous at reeling because my swim bait rod and my umbrella rod, my A-rig rod, are both right-hand retrieves.
probably like some sort of like worm. I don't know.
That's another question from Little Rich.
Is that Little Richard?
Best. Wait,
Little
no, that's
Dicky?
Michael. Wait, what does
No,
Little
you're
Richard
right.
do?
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that was Little
I was
Richie.
on top. Best shallow crankbait, 1 to 4 feet to go just over the submerged grass or throwing it on the bank and bringing it in. That's not really finesse or heavy gear related, but I'll allow it.
I'd say
crank-
a square bill.
I said that
Personally.
I don't
Some
know
sort of
enough
square bill.
specific models that
Depending on
rarely
how
crank.
deep you are.
Like the little.
Hell no.
My favorite's one of the little KVD, the 1.5s. Is it?
Yeah, those I like, but I think they go a little deeper than what he's talking about.
They go deeper. If you're cranking ultra shallow like that, like 4 feet isn't ultra shallow. 1 to 4 feet is a weird range. Like usually it's like 1 to 2 or like 3 to 5. But 1 to 4 is the range of 2 different crankbaits really. But if you're fishing ultra shallow like bank out, then I like the Lucky Craft Classic square bill. It's literally called Lucky Craft Classic.
Yes.
It's like it dives like 1 foot. And they come in like straight gold, chrome colors and silver colors. And like in the fall when they're, and in the early spring too, but in the fall when they're chewing on bait, like actual bait and not eating crawdads and stuff, those chrome colors are awesome. So like I've crushed fish on those for years. And like I've had to buy them on eBay and stuff because like they make them intermittently. But like it is the best ultra shallow square bill that I've ever used.
You know, it's funny when we went fishing. Well, I went fishing 3 times this weekend. Andrew and I went out Friday, and then we went again Sunday morning, and then I went out with my family Monday evening for a few hours. And I was throwing a square bill with Andrew on Friday, and I got trucked. And it's like a brand new KVD 2.5 trucked, and I set the hook like a champ, and I still lost the damn thing.
It's probably because you set the hook like a champ.
That's true. That rod's like
He's
a
fishing like
wet
a-
noodle, though.
he's-
It's not, yeah,
He's jig fishing.
yeah, you're not
set the hook,
flipping.
Yeah.
When you get a bite on a crankbait, you'll lean into them. You don't jack them.
Well,
I know how you set the hook.
Andrew looks over at us. He's like, "How did you lose that though?"
How did that happen?
You can't slack
I'm
line a
bad.
hook set on a.
Sure you can. Slackline anything.
I missed. Who did I see? Oh, Kirk. I met a buddy at the ramp today. No gear. Fished his gear, winding the wrong hand. Got a 4 and a 3.8. Felt weird, but I'm ambidextrous. That's nice.
Cool.
Traps and jackhammers are putting in the work today. Yeah. You know what's funny? Andrew said that too. He's like, you should throw a lipless. And I realized I didn't put them in my dad's boat. And I was very sad.
But Dad's boat is good now.
Is what?
Dad's boat is good now, though.
It is. She was running like a champ. Made that phone call for you. He's talking about it. Oh, speaking of boats. So I was supposed to have the power head in for my boat, like now, and I called them today, and they're like, "Yeah, we got it. They're already working on it." I'm like, "Yes, all right. I should have it back this weekend, and then I could make the next step happen." And then they call me back an hour later. He's like, "Dude, I feel really bad. I thought that was your boat in the shop. It's not. We don't even have your power head yet. It is in transit though, but we don't have the power head yet." I'm
Oh,
like,
that's a bummer.
But it's in
okay.
Siberia.
"So yeah, probably."
It's in transit.
It's on the ship.
It's on a mule in Siberia.
Caught in a fire in Canada somewhere again.
Jesus. Just in the Red Sea. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Mike said, "What? No mega bass?" Say what? Did
I don't really have any super shallow mega bass crankbaits when I think about it. I don't know. Somebody said OSP Blitz SSR. That's another
Yeah.
really good one.
I saw
I
that
have
one
a
in
Pop
there.
Max. That's about it.
there you go.
For anything small from them.
So
And the Pop Max isn't
Jason,
that
a crazy
small
hook.
either.
Good starting line weight for BFS jig fishing.
6 pound.
There you go.
5 pound and
answered.
6 pound are the only lines I use on BFS. If you're throwing a jig, 6 pound. Anything with treble hooks, 5 pound.
Yes, 5 pound. That's what I used this last weekend. It worked, mint.
I did catch one on that, by the way,
You
because
gotta
I
put new line on it though, because the line that's on there is old. I told you this. The line
know,
that's on there is
it's like
old
my
and
jerk
crappy.
bait.
Like you
There's
gotta,
a knot halfway
yeah, there's a
through.
knot. Like I changed half the line and I ran out of line when I was reeling it on. Like,
Dude, I've been
going to
using-
Andrew anyway.
I've been using this. I've been using the same line on my jerkbait rod now for
it's
too
time
long.
to change it.
Too long.
since the beginning of the season.
I know when he's using it too because I can hear him cast and hear.
But you'll be
as
able to
it
cast it
goes.
like twice as far if there isn't a knot that gets stuck on every guide, like 8 guides as you cast
I
it.
can cast it pretty far.
It's
Wait
like
until
the,
there's not a knot on it.
the 8
True.
knots on his bait to begin with.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't.
You're one of those
take
guys,
off.
aren't you? You don't cut the old knot off.
Nah. Dude, you should see my top waters. And
Andrew.
like,
You should see his swim bait box.
some of
It's
my
terrifying.
glide baits. It's just,
terrifying.
they're like just stacked up on the freaking line tie.
Andrew, it's just helping with the flotation.
Yeah, it's mint. They see it like that thing's fucked up. I'm just gonna eat it.
It does make it stand out.
Put you out of your misery, little guy. Let me get through this one, then we can do something a little more specific to heavy gear. We'll bounce between heavy and finesse. Unless some good questions keep coming through, and then I continue to address that, we can just keep rolling with it. But Pittsburgh Angler did ask, does a summer bite crap the bed for you guys over there in September? Can't catch them anywhere up shallow or offshore. A lot of guys here just fish for muskie or flatheads. Yes. Especially right now. It's funny because we went out, Andrew and I, for 2 days this weekend. One fish over 3 pounds. That was Andrew. Going back.
I did?
Yeah, that very first one you caught Friday night.
You're like, wait, what?
I mean,
Oh,
it was probably like 3 pounds even, but
Yeah.
regardless, that was the highlight of it. And
It's like, I don't remember that. But okay.
I got back from Champlain, and like so far, all of August has been abysmal for me. I caught 2 that were close to 3 pounds of you, Dennis, that day we went out. Maybe 2 3/4.
Well, I'm like the best guide, so
By the way,
that's expected.
I was kind of punching on Saturday
Ooh,
or
proud of you.
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. That's
I
right.
caught a fish first cast with it too. Or
Yeah, that
first-
was amazing.
First punch.
I literally just hooked up onto one of my biggest ones of the year. Did you see that one?
That was a dandy. But anyway, while he's showing that, to answer your question, yes, this is typically like the toughest time of the year for me. And I try to go to bodies of water that have extensive areas of multiple types of areas. I try to find a body of water that's got
6.
substantial amounts of deep, moderate, and super shallow, like clean, rocky, sandy patches. And the same thing for like vegetation and varied vegetation. And there's quite a few places you can go to offer all of that, or places like insanely deep water. You know, like almost always, even in the dog days at the end of the year right now, you can usually go out and get a smallie like wicked deep. You can go out to like 60-ish feet,
Yeah.
maybe deeper. You can still get onto them. What was that down
Yeah.
there? Peanut gallery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but right now where I don't have my own boat, I'm using my dad's. I don't have like anything on it, and we didn't find out until this past Sunday that the motor is finally actually working, so we could go run bigger water. It was like we've just been stuck to our little shallow puddles that have been around here local, and it's been brutal because I don't have that depth and variety. At some point, you will find them, even in this tough time of the year as we're leading up into that fall transition. But that's why I typically will spend more of my time on the bigger bodies of water, because I can find numerous areas of wildly different structure and cover. And eventually you will get into them. I don't know. I'm rambling, but am I the only one here on this, or?
I agree. This is my favorite time
Pretty
of year
much
to go to
spot on.
Winnie. Like,
I'm just saying that to Andrew.
MD
Yeah.
had a pretty good question.
Wait, how far
Couldn't
down
go
is
there, I guess.
he?
Right.
last year I went to Winnie in
oh,
September,
that one.
and I was catching them in 63 feet of water.
That sounds like fun.
It was awesome. We caught so many out in like 63. It was the deepest I've ever caught a bass, 63 feet. But it was like we're the only
deepest
boat
you
out there.
caught a
Nobody I don't know. These are all smallmouth. Largemouth probably like 40.
That's
But-
crazy. I've never seen.
But 63 feet, it was like shallower than 40 feet, absolutely nothing. And then like 40 to 50, you would see some. But then when you got out to 63, and it like you know how Winnie, it's like it drops down and then it kind of slopes, but then it like plateaus and
Yeah.
it's flat. It was like right where it plateaus and it's flat, and it was just like smallmouth all along the edge. And like
Right at
all
the
day long, and you can tell that those fish are not fished for, because as soon as it gets down there, like dunk, 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 dunk. So like it takes 1 second to get bit as soon as you're on them.
I love catching smallies deep.
That's awesome.
It's so much fun.
It's awesome. You got to be careful with them, but
I
it's
gotta.
awesome.
I'm working on learning how to do it. Slowly.
Bring me
He's
out.
taking his time,
We'll
people.
go.
Okay.
So MD did ask, favorite punch bait, and do you ever use skirts? You're up.
So
Skirt.
99% of the times I'm not using a skirt, only because I want to try and get through whatever I'm getting through more efficiently, and the skirt will hold you up. I've got 2 styles of baits that I like to use. One's like a craw style that has some sort of flappers. This one.
Oh, you even wore the shirt.
It's
Oh, yeah,
beautiful.
look at that.
That's one of my baits I helped design with Z Bait Co. That's the Armor Craw, which I absolutely kill it on. And then they've got another bait that's more of like a stick style baits. How do you describe that?
Like Senko kind of style, like a stick bait.
Yeah, but it's a stick bait, but it's got like flappers on it. So it's not as bulky as
It's like a brush hog.
Like a hog bait?
It's like a brush hog almost.
Yep.
There's two styles because there's a couple different companies that make like the ugly otters. Ugly otters are good, but then they make the craw style. So the craw style is literally just like a tube and it's got two craws. So it comes through the water and comes through your mats and comes through your vegetation super easy. The only time I'll use a skirt is if I'm fishing around like sparse pads, but they're still pretty thick, because that skirt gives me a little bit more bulk and slows things down. Generally, your pads are going to be a little bit more shallow. Sometimes the mats that I'm punching can be 2-3 feet deep, or they can be 8 to 10 feet deep underneath too. Depends on.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's once they start get a little bit more deep, over that like 4 to 5 foot range, and that thing falls. And I mean, I'm using
Hey, put the secret weapon away.
anywhere from 1 to 2 ounces of weight too. Just depends on what they're doing. Like, I look at punching and flipping stuff like guys look at like deep water, where like this piece of vegetation versus this piece of vegetation, that's where I got bit, versus, that's like a contour line almost. Like,
Yeah, you're looking out and you see a whole field of pads, and you see one section that's just a little bit of grass.
right.
Something
Or
different.
you've even got that stuff that looks like mud.
Right.
I'll punch through that mud stuff because underneath that is a clear canopy, and that's where it's cold, it's dark. It's a perfect ambush, but just like a dock. That's exactly what it is. And you're putting that thing in there, and they have nothing better to do than to react to it. And it's as soon as it gets through that mat, hold on.
If you can get it through.
That's the other thing.
So you'll notice when you're punching and it's like I've never gone punching, but like when the punching bite is like on, you'll notice that like you find them more in certain types, like certain species of grass than you would.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you think
So,
that's because of the canopy under the grass?
Yeah,
Like
it's
some of
so,
them just
like,
have better
how
canopies?
each grass grows and how it dies off too. So it's a lot this time of year. The die off will push grass into certain parts of the lake where you may be in a foot of water, but if you punch through that foot of water, I've caught 5-6 pounders in a foot of water in literally a section of grass that has been a foot, like this thick, and I punched through that. I was like, well, let's see what's in there. Yeah, they're a 5-pounder in there.
Yep, they just get up underneath that canopy and it just cuts that UV down significantly, and they're comfy.
And it's a
But they're-
perfect ambush point too.
That was what I was the follow up that was coming. Spot on.
Up in the air, right?
Real quick, while we're still hammering away at this, for anybody that hasn't done it yet, if you could do us a favor, drop a like on the stream, please, and I would greatly appreciate it.
It's dumb. Like, well,
Punching?
Yeah.
it's,
Oh, dude,
it's unreal.
If you guys haven't done it, you need to do it.
it's
Just don't throw Sean your weights.
that's fair. And you know what? I accept it.
No, trust me, I'll catch it.
I promise I'll catch it this time.
promise I'll catch it this time.
I promise I'll catch it this time.
There's 2
I promise
ounces
I'll
of
catch it this
2
time.
ounces of tungsten down the hole.
You didn't want that $30 worth of tungsten, did you?
Nah. That's still one of the best memories, regardless of how expensive it was. It was still great.
I watched the video. It was hilarious. Wasn't I supposed to go that day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when you broke your no. Yes, that was when you broke your wrist.
Oh, I remember.
So you couldn't go to that. The
missed
other
the
time you were
Champlain
supposed to go was when I went up
did.
and met the Beast Coast crew. And I waited and waited and waited, and finally I was like, I can't wait anymore.
Oh,
and
that's-
I was like an hour into Vermont, and then you called. You're like, hey, I just woke up. Where are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm like 3 hours away.
No, I called you. I was like, yeah, I f***ed up.
It was a tough trip.
MD's got another one that I just saw down the road, but
I will get to that in a second. There's another one from Mark that I wanted to get to. What did he just say? Hey guys, what's your favorite soft plastic in September? I love the fluke this time of the year. Wait. I'm gonna answer that first. Fluke for me. Going back to MD, favorite punch bait. Do not overlook the Flip and Delight from Beast Coast Fishing. By the
Yes,
way,
absolutely.
friggin' incredible, absolutely incredible bait, and he's got a ton of different colors. But circling back to Mark's question, I love throwing a fluke. I actually threw the hell out of it this weekend, all 3 days.
He's
And
my
actually
honor.
ended up catching like 5 or 6 of it.
I had one tied on it
with my
this time of
family,
year too.
and they were all squeakers. But it was the only thing I could catch. I was throwing everything else, and it was miserable this weekend. There's no other way to put it. It just sucked.
Yeah, it was friggin' bad.
We were in these shallow puddles the whole time. It was just miserable. Anybody else? Favorite soft plastic this time of the year?
I mean, September is a long month. The end of September is a lot different than the beginning of September.
We'll
I
go
would
this
say,
beginning of September.
especially
People
this
want to know what they
year.
got thrown this weekend.
year. I would say throughout the fall, probably like a 2.8 Kitech for me, because the way that I fish deep, I fish bait. In the fall, I usually don't fish unless I see bait, and I know that I'm fishing around fish bait, like not crawfish or not really bluegill and stuff. And I feel like Kitech.
There is a
2.8
way
Kitech.
similar to punch, like similar to what you're saying, but like when I'm punching, I will be able to know if that spot's going to be productive or not by hearing the sunfish and the
You
blue.
can hear them popping.
If you don't hear that popping underneath pads and mats,
Dead zone.
it's dead.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's all I heard everywhere we went this weekend.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get a bite up in there to save my life.
Yeah.
They're also
Blah.
chasing dragonflies too, so
Yeah,
makes it
true.
tough.
Yeah.
I like Kevin. Anything not Champlain has been slow.
I would say if I'm fishing grass or shallow or something, this is the time of year for a fluke though. This and
Oh, yeah.
immediate post spawn.
Yep.
Those are the two times that you always have one.
Immediate post spawn fluke fishing is about one of my favorite things to do. And I even finally got Andrew like really hooked on it this year.
It was fun.
That pre-spawn,
The one or
like,
two times we
super,
did it.
super early pre-spawn when they go up super shallow for a fluke, that can be dumb as well.
Oh yeah. Actually, was that when we actually had our better luck with it? Was it a pre-spawn?
I honestly
Those few
don't
trips in the
remember.
rain? I don't remember either. There's one big blur this spring.
Yeah, you're telling me.
There you go. So that was the MD's follow-up. Is hard bottom a big factor? I feel like I know the answer to this.
Absolutely, yes.
Is hard bottom a big factor? Oh,
It doesn't always play in, but so what like I'll do is I'll look at my maps are super, super early spring where I know these mats are going to grow up, and I'll go and side scan and look and see if I can find rocks and stuff like that, and then I'll waypoint that. So when the mats show up, those rocks they create more of a canopy that way with the hard bottom versus like the sand or soft bottom. So like that sand and soft bottom, they'll kind of grow up. There'll be a mat, but it'll just be entangled. But with the hard bottom, it leaves a clear, just like a dock.
Interesting. Okay.
So you can like super, super early spring.
Yep.
If you are in shallow and you see something, put that on your waypoint and mark it. Like go back there now, or July. There's mats over it. Put that bait in that hole where that waypoint is, and you will get bit.
Smart. What were you rubbing your hands about over there, bud?
oh,
You.
my hands are cold.
We're gonna go punching.
My hands hurt. Well, now your back's gonna hurt because you're going flipping.
Yeah.
It is seriously the most exhausting fun you can do.
Yeah,
bass
dude, we
fishing.
caught like 80 or 90 fish that day, and I was in so much pain the next day. I had a broken freaking wrist.
Yeah, you had your brace.
I had my
still.
brace on. My wrist was still practically broken, and I was sitting there punching with 2-ounce freaking tungsten weights,
You know, it's a really
setting
good
the
day
hook
is
as
when,
hard as I possibly could.
when like your side starts hurting.
Yup.
Oh yeah.
I literally have had days where I've got a bruise on my side because
I
I'm
had a
just
bruise from the
setting
rod.
the hook so hard. Yeah.
John gets that from one hook set.
Yep.
He's got a callus there now, so it doesn't make
He gets a running start for all his hook sets.
If he sets the hook.
Yeah, I've been having a real problem with that lately.
You have. You're just like,
I just
I just
They
missed
haven't
one
even
line.
eaten it.
Well, you didn't even move. Wait.
you're like, and then they
because they have it.
They don't really.
He
have
likes
it.
to wait for him to bite 3 times.
All right, fine, whatever.
Come back with just the mouth.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it. No, it's gone. Or he's picking on me. I did see another question that I wanted to go to. Oh, there was a crazy hook bait. What style bait for punching? Beaver, craw, or worm? I feel like all of the above is the correct answer, but for
Definitely
me
get away
personally,
with all of them.
something bigger. Big profile, a lot of crazy action in the legs. So I tend to go more craw style. Or, I mean, what would you consider
Christmas.
like a flapping hog from Yamamoto? Like that, it's kind of like its own thing. Creature bait. Creature bait is what I would go to a lot. Oh my god, thank you. Are we not drinking that one?
Maybe we will. We'll see.
I should put it back in the fridge. It's sitting there getting warm.
I personally have never thrown a worm on a punching bait, only because
I can't have what I want.
that
Not on
bigger hook that you're going to use, like
God,
3 or 4/0 straight up flipping hook.
Yep.
Won't.
5/0.
I've actually, over the years, have not thrown a 5/0 as much because I get a better hookup ratio.
So, we were just talking about punching, and that one day we went 2 years ago. The last time it was good for us. That was actually Andrew's first time punching. We fished 2 days in one day essentially. We were on the water at like 6:30, and we fished for smallmouth until 12:30, a little over 20 pounds, and then we're like, okay, let's go punch mats, and we did that until 7:30. So we did like all smallies were 6-ish hours, and then punching grass for 7 straight hours,
So
and it
much
was
fun.
so much fun. But in the morning when we were going for smallies, we got into a really good Carolina rig bite, but I kept missing a couple of fish, and I was throwing a 3/0 hook for a rage crawl, which is almost like a perfect size. And I was like, well, let me see what it looks like with a 5/0. It barely fit. I didn't miss a single fish after that. But that's like a rare use case where, because
Right.
of the conditions, specifically how they were biting, that made me stop and think, what if I go to this? Will it fit? As long as it barely fits, it fits. And it worked.
You're right.
So when the punching, the 5/0 hook versus the 3 or 4/0, I feel like when I set the hook, because I always snell my knots too, right?
Yep.
So with that,
What the hell are you over there?
He just understood what I said.
took
You're
a little
right.
while. But that 5/0 hook gets them more in like the mouth, like back in the throat, more than it does in like their lip.
Still.
Like
Yep.
I want like a nice hard like top of the roof, top of the mouth, like lip hook set versus like kind of in the back of the throat. That 5/0 hook just seems to be a little bit longer for
want it
most of the baits.
Through the cheekbone.
Yeah,
Like straight in and out
right.
here.
So that's why I've been downsizing the last couple of years. Is I've stopped throwing as many. It's pretty much 3/0 to 4/0 flipping hooks, as opposed to the 5/0s. But the beaver style and cross style is pretty much all I throw.
What about you two down there?
Well, I flipped that tree this weekend with a 5-inch swim bait and like an 8/0 hook in it.
Forgot about that. And that's what you caught the biggest fish on all friggin' weekend.
Yeah.
Out of all of us, out of 3 friggin' people the whole weekend.
5-inch swim bait with an 8/0 hook.
Oh, God, that's good.
It
Dennis, you're the
worked.
man. Thank you.
I was not trying to miss a fish. They're a largemouth. I could fit it in there.
I'm the opposite. Whenever I flip, I don't.
If anybody has questions outside, like when the stream's over, feel free to shoot me a message about punching. Like, I just want to be able to show people. I've spent the last, like, probably 6 years or so, like, going to a local pond in my backyard, learning how to do this because I saw Aaron Martins do it one year, and I was like, I've never seen anybody up here do this. I've literally never seen anybody do this. And then just taught myself how to do it probably 8 years ago, and now I've just, like, I don't want to say I've mastered it, but I feel like I've figured a lot of stuff out. So shoot me a message, DM me. I'll glad to help baits and whatnot.
There you go.
Dennis
3D
was saying
underscore
something.
fishing. What?
Dennis was saying something.
What were you saying?
I don't remember.
Okay, I do.
What were we talking about?
Something about hook size.
Hook size. Oh, flipping hooks.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about baits, not flip.
Oh,
not
baits.
hooks.
Okay,
I don't know.
talk baits.
I don't know. You guys all talked about flipping like cross style baits. When I flip, I don't use a cross style bait. I'll use a jig, or I'll use like a worm style bait. I like the doe live shrimp, OSP doe live shrimp, like a 6-inch doe live shrimp,
Yes.
and it's basically like a cross between like a worm and a brush hog. But that's the thing that I was throwing on a
Shrimp or
swing
the
head
beaver?
too. No, the shrimp.
Oh. I just ordered me another, like, 8 bags of beavers.
Oh, the beavers are amazing. I use the beavers all the time too,
Beavers
but I
are
use them on like a free rig, and I use them on like as jig trailers and things like that. But I love flipping the shrimp because it's like, I don't know, it's a different look. It's like
Yes.
a cross between a worm and a brush hog.
It's one of those
I
things that, like, sorry, you go first.
Me?
Yeah. You were saying something.
I like to flip. Well, like punching, not punching because you can't really punch with them. But I like flipping, like the Citizen 6 and 7s into thick pads, or like any big type of swim bait with a big hook in it, like weedless into willy pads. Not really swim them out, but just kind of like
Jig 'em.
yeah,
Work 'em.
pretty much yo-yo them through the grass.
I did hear you on a live stream this year say that, and I tried it, and I was like, I used the
Telling you,
creep.
man.
the
Yeah,
East
from
Coast
Beast
East
Coast.
Coast creep,
Yep.
and I put a little spinner on the back tail, like back where it's like little pectoral fin is on the back there. Put a little spinner, flipped it into the pads, and absolutely got rocked. And I was like, "Yay, Andrew!" hit me."
Dude, I'm telling you, it's fun.
I remember watching him do that with the Chuleta Junior from CHR Swimbaits. It's a 5 3/4 inch. Actually, no, I don't have one over there. I've got his new prototype over there, which I don't know if he's released it or not yet. It's that like green pumpkin face that's sticking up off the shelf over there, Dennis.
Oh, I see it near.
Yeah, I got two of them. I've been fishing it. I got bit on that one once already. It's a cool bait. Like that would be ideal for literally what you're talking about, because that's like 4 3/4, I think. That or even the
Should I show
Miyagi.
it? Can I show
I
it?
about
think
this
you
one?
can. I think he's released it now. You keep that. You shush. Don't be giving up my
This
cold
thing
water
is
secrets.
actually really sick.
That's
my
an awesome
goodness,
bait.
I have an amazing idea.
That's kind of along the same lines as the Miyagi from Beast Coast Fishing too. You can do the same thing with
I
it.
literally have one of those secrets tied on right now.
Dude, it's killer. Friggin' killer.
I know
bait.
it is.
What? Don't forget, get up close to that. Oh, wait, you're trying not to. Okay, well, I'm going to keep talking so he doesn't give up his secrets. Pittsburgh Angler, I did have this pin for a second there. Have you guys found that pike lakes typically have bigger bass? Maybe because only big bass can compete with the pike. Not sure how common pike are out your way. You know, there could be something said for that to an extent, because, like, I'm thinking about the only few pike-ridden lakes in New Hampshire, and they've got some donkey largemouth.
Yeah.
And pretty much all of Vermont is 10 times better than anywhere in New Hampshire.
Yeah. I tell you,
Said what I said.
Pike.
there's a lot of lakes in New Hampshire that I'd like to put pike in.
Oh my
for
God!
that
The
exact
whole lakes
reason.
region, the entire
for that
lakes region
exact
need
reason.
pike.
Every single lake
I
in
do,
New Hampshire.
Yeah, I do think that there's something to be said that if you have pike in there, the pike get big enough that they eat a lot of the smaller bass, so there isn't just millions of smaller bass.
Yeah, so we can't get overrun like we have
Right.
like any of the local ponds around us.
Yeah.
Where like that spot I took you to last year, you end up catching that like
say what I'm
5-pound
thinking
largemouth on the jerk
on
bait,
here.
Right.
but literally everything else was a pound.
Yep.
And we caught like 60 of them.
Put a couple pike in there.
That's where we went for the BFS fishing. Like we went to first spot we went to, awful. We were there 4.5 hours. I caught 2 rats. We left.
I know.
Then we went to that spot.
Can't do that.
In the first 5 minutes, he had 6 fish,
Who's
but
this?
they were all
They're all little guys.
Yeah.
But at least you know there's a couple big ones.
right.
Oh, in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
I caught
like-
a 5-pounder, Andrew.
I've caught multiple big sixes out of
Hey, you
it.
think you're better than me?
That
There,
that
yes.
place with pike would solve that problem. You
There
throw
I
a couple
do.
big pike in there, in a year it's fixed.
Dude, that would be amazing.
That's
to
right.
have
Side
spot.
note to that, though, one thing Dennis and I can probably both agree on is it doesn't make a difference whether we're fishing 30 or 40 foot of water or 3 foot of water. Like, if I'm punching a mat and I get that hook set and you just get rocked and you nothing, it happens. I'm sure it happens to you out deep as well, because I started fishing out deep and I was like, oh man, this is going to be great. Set the hook and I was like, the hell was that?
calm.
Was there a pike in 40 foot of water? Like, what the
Oh, yeah.
heck?
Oh yeah.
They're in there.
And I was like, and then I caught one a couple weeks ago on Champlain, dragging a jig, set the hook, and I was like, oh, this is a big smallie. And it's giant northern. And I was like, this is dumb. I don't want this. I'm trying to learn how to catch bass deep, not pike.
That happened to me
Well, you
when we were
kicked
up.
my ass jig fishing that day.
That was,
That was awesome.
If they're big enough, they're fun.
Yeah,
Little hammer
Yeah.
handles aren't that fun, but the big ones are fun. You
That-
see the giant pickerel I caught last week?
I did. That was a big pickerel. There's only one pickerel I can like definitively and fondly remember that I
thing was
caught that I
huge.
was thrilled with. Was the one I caught back in January or February this year, and dude, it had to have been close to 5 pounds. It was a monster, and she was fatter than fat, loaded
Yeah.
with eggs, getting ready to spawn, and ate the jerk bait and took me for a ride. It was amazing.
That's cool.
But yeah, for pike out deep, I've caught 2 of them that have been pretty big. But last year for Canwood Camp, right in Mallett's Bay, like from the
yeah.
ramp going up along that left shoreline,
Oh, yeah.
it's like the first steep drop.
Yep.
And I already had my jig out, open water sniper, in like 35 feet. And I think we saw it on the 2D. All of a sudden, there was just a big mark. We're like, that's got to be a pike. And I felt thunk. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And I set the hook. And it didn't move for a second. And then it did. And it was angry. I was like, oh, my God. Ended up being, what was that, like a 36-inch pike?
Something
Maybe-
like that. Yeah,
maybe
it was
bigger?
A good one.
Is that where you caught the catfish?
Yeah.
Yep. That was cool.
And then I ended up catching like a 44-inch-ish pike earlier this spring on a jackhammer. That was fun. That was amazing.
they're fun to catch. but they also can be ridiculously frustrating.
They
at the
suck
same
to
time.
catch in tournaments.
They take a lot
Yeah.
of money from you for sure.
No. What sucks to catch in tournaments is a drum. Because a pike, you know immediately, almost every time that it's like, okay,
I caught a
something
drum in
about
the tournament.
I know, but then you hook a good drum, it's like, I don't know what this is. It just feels amazing.
Unless it's too good. Sometimes it's too good, and
Yeah,
you're like,
it
there's
was-
no way.
It's too good, and
Right.
you're like, you
Yeah.
got a 15, 20-pound drum
Right.
on, and you're sitting there for 20 minutes trying to get this drum up. You're like, okay.
Well, I caught it on a jig. I've only caught drum on a jig.
We caught him drop shot in that day.
I've caught him on drop shot.
It's crazy.
I've caught one on a tube. Everything else, all the other
they-
ones I've caught have been on a
Just
jig.
bite everything.
They're cool.
I like them.
They are fun.
We
We need more of these finesse
They changed up
questions,
the day.
by the way, people. Keep them coming. But Ryan had a really good question. What is the biggest frustration from the season, and what do you plan on doing in the off season to remedy it? I'm going to go first. Mine's really easy. Blowing your fucking motor. That's a frustration. And how am I going to fix it? I'm buying a new goddamn boat. Next.
It's a pretty good reason.
Pretty good plan, I
I
guess.
think my biggest frustration is the wild fluctuation in temperatures this
Oh my
season. One temperatures, two water, and it's just been. I don't want to say a perfect storm because it definitely hasn't been a perfect storm. It's just been a shit storm, I guess. But like
Yeah.
we've had ridiculously cold nights that we shouldn't have cold nights in the 40s in like August. We've had crazy flooding. We've had crazy hot water. There's just no like the fish are just all over the place. It's so hard to and I don't have an off season.
No, there's no.
I don't know
option.
that any of
We
us
don't
really
have an
has.
off season. Ice fishing doesn't count to have an off season.
That no. I'm still fishing. Whether I'm target
It's the biggest frustration from this season. Where do I begin?
Do you want me to pull up our best five bass for the
Chapter
season?
1.
Oh, don't do that. I was so sad when you sent me that message. I felt so bad.
Don't feel bad for him. Because he's still having a great year. Andrew, he's still having a great year except for largemouth. His smallmouth has been fucking on point.
Yeah,
He's
but,
been having a damn good year. He's just
I mean,
not
it's
having the
been
year he
so
wants.
good that I'm actually getting a smallmouth tattoo. So
I believe in you, Andrew. You're a late bloomer.
I don't know. The largemouth this year just sucked for me. But other than that,
Best time of year is coming, but it's coming.
I know.
It's right around the corner.
That's
I know.
right.
But we also haven't gone to many of the places that we usually do. So
Which we're going to live at, by
Yeah,
the way, the
the
remainder
next-
of the season
the
as soon as I
next-
get my boat. That's all we're doing.
if
We're
I get-
out of New Hampshire.
and
We're
if
down
I-
to the state.
If I get my boat, I'll follow you up,
Yes, sir.
and then you can meet us there, and you can come up, and we can do a little 4-boat
I
tournament.
might have weekends
I like
off
that.
now, so
I like that.
And now at Bass Fishing Electronics, we do have the Bubba scales. So
I need that.
The normal black and white one and the color one with it's like a whole app and everything, and like it
They're super
automatically
cool.
calls and this, that, and the other. They're pretty cool, and you can link them through the app, so you can legitimately have a tournament in the app. It's pretty cool.
Sean Miller's comment.
I like that. I like that.
DJ gets over 5 feet deep and he gets a nosebleed.
I'm like,
Yeah, right, dude.
I can't see bottom.
Me and him were fishing together on Champlain,
I got fish
and
in
we
20
were in
foot of
like
water.
20 to 25 feet. And he's like, "Oh my god, I got a fish in deep water!" I'm like, "This is a little shallow, dude. I can literally see the bottom."
This isn't deep. We're in the mid range.
It was 20 foot. That was deep. That's like deep water for me. Like,
It was cool.
Dennis is out there in 45 feet. We're almost deep water.
Almost
We're getting
deep
there.
enough.
Almost.
We're almost there.
I love fishing for smallies and over 60 feet.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it's-
just like
that's literally
50,
unfathomable to
like
me. Like, I
anything
can't-
like
awesome.
45 to 60 is
awesome.
like
Come in my boat with me. I'll take you to Winnie.
Dude,
I'll show you.
it's,
I love
I'll
it.
show you the way.
it's fun.
All right.
Let him take you in his boat, though, because then you can do 70 across the lake.
yeah, it's great. And
I
when
don't
you
want
do it at night,
I don't want to.
and when you do it at night,
No,
like
definitely
1 to
not
2
on Winnie, though.
footers,
I don't like that lake.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
when,
like
you,
my
when you
boat.
doing 70, you would take off.
I like my
and then you
lower
land
unit, too,
on the
so-
mountain.
Oh my god, dude! I got a video to show you after.
Did you get
It's
a
not-
chance?
Today.
No, I don't care. I don't
It's
have a.
just-
My biggest frustration. I agreed actually with Alec. I don't know what his last name is. Yeah, the P one. The rain. I fish the river a ton in the summer normally, and I have fished it like 3 times this year at all because it's either not safe or they close the boat ramps, or you go there and it's chocolate milk and mud and like I'm sure you could still figure it out if you
Did you
spend enough
see
time.
when they
but
drew
it's-
down the BF dam?
Yep.
That was absolute. I've never in my life seen
Yeah.
that.
Drained
That
all the water out of it.
That was wild.
And who knows what that did to that area?
Right.
But like, I don't
Like
know.
the top of it was empty.
They
Like,
drained all the water out of that
The
section
Springfield
to work on the
section that,
dam.
like we typically fish.
Oh yeah.
There was literally no water in it.
Yeah, they drained like almost
Wow.
100% of the water out to
Completely
repair the dam.
drained it.
Like
That's
it was
the one
like
with
it
all
was
the
like
docks
land.
and everything, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So that's my biggest frustration because I love fishing the river. Like
Yep.
I love like that's why I fish Champlain so much because I love fishing current and fishing Champlain is full of current and like the river is full of current. So
That's
it's
what I grew
it's
up on,
natural,
was
right?
fishing that river.
Right. Fishing current is like what I like doing, and I haven't really done it this year. It's poopy.
It's been so awful. I fished there a couple times this spring and it was really good.
Me too.
But that was way before all the rain and
Yeah.
the disasters that we had.
Yeah, I was there like early June,
That's what I was gonna say.
like late May, early June, and it was awesome. And then it was like
So, how long ago would you say that flooding was? Like 6-7 weeks ago now at this point?
not even that long, I don't think.
No, it's probably pretty close.
I went the terrible
weekend.
flooding.
Yeah,
was,
from like the
but-
peak of it when it like the worst of it
yes,
had happened.
Yes, it was that. But like I went there. I think I told you. Maybe I told you this. I tried
Yeah,
to
you
go
tried
there.
going there.
I tried to go there probably like 4 weeks ago, and I launched, and it was like I took my hand and I stuck it like this far down in the water, and I couldn't see it, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not even gonna fish here, and I put the boat back on the trail, and I went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even try. It was like, no, I'm not even doing this.
So I live 5 minutes from the river pretty much. It's like my backyard. And the problem with the river now is because the sediment hasn't had time to settle. If it rains, if we get a sprinkle, that river is chocolate milk now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Instantly. Because it hasn't had time to like calm down and like all the sediment like settle down
Right,
and
like
relax.
actually get back down to the
Right.
bottom. Yeah.
So all of the rain, it's just after the flood, it's just been every single rainstorm after that. Immediately, the very next morning,
sucks.
I'll drive over the bridge and be like, "Well,
It's brown.
yeah, cool, great."
Yep. So,
I was gonna go there this weekend, and then it's like we're gonna have a
why
hurricane this
bother?
weekend.
Yeah.
Of course.
wait, are we really?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the hurricane that was in Florida. It's gonna be here this weekend.
I
Yeah.
can't catch a break.
Well, remember last time we went fishing a hurricane?
It's
Yeah, actually, it was
We're
great.
doing it.
Okay, we're going. Well, I was thinking we should, depending upon how the boat situation works out for having to pick stuff up and whatnot. If it works out, I want to go out this Friday after work because it looks like it's gonna be really nice, and like we can
Okay.
try and stay out kind of late.
Okay.
Be good
Ish.
with the pending low pressure coming in for Saturday.
That's what
Okay.
I'm hoping for.
And no moon.
Yes, thank
So
God.
then we're gonna
So-
get our shit pushed in.
to my point about how long ago was that flooding in Vermont, I called my insurance company 2 weeks ago now because the whole motor situation, and I definitely hit something on Champlain during the tournament. So I figured, okay, what the hell? Let's drag the insurance company into it. I'm paying for it. Like, why not, right? So I made the call, and they called me back, and it was finally like the actual agent that would come out to look at it. And he was like, hey, man, I'm not even going to be able to come out to look at your boat till September 11th. And I was like, why is that a month away that you're telling me you can't come to look at it? He's like, because of all the flood. Like, I'm the only agent in this area, and because of all that flooding.
because there's so much damage.
Yeah, like he's like, that's how far I'm booked out before I can even squeeze you in. I was like, that's insane. But then I remembered just how devastating it was when I came home from Plattsburgh from the Candlewood camp
Yeah.
because I gambled on which way I was going to go, only to find out there was heavy rain that night and it temporarily closed that road I took in the middle of frickin' Middlebury. So I had to come all the way back down Route 4. But like I'm driving down Route 4 and the water's back down to normal, and it's like 10, 15 feet below the road, and I'm driving along. Like there's little spindly trees that are 10 feet tall, and there's still weeds clinging to the top of those, almost 20 feet above the water. I was like, holy crap. Like, and you could tell all the damage and devastation from like where it really crested and across the road and where there was buildings that were in that path.
Yeah.
You can see where the road was like carved out from the current when you got around like a really tight turn. But then just to see the weeds, even, you know, like 10
scary.
feet above the
Yeah, that's
road, it's
scary.
like, whoa.
That's scary.
And then you realize like
That's ridiculous.
That's
how much water that is, because like coming out of the river to be able to reach 10 feet, how much more it had to fill side to side, two on top of that.
That's a lot. It's extreme.
That's the boat launch.
You know,
It's mind-boggling.
You know the spot that we always stay in Champlain,
Yeah.
the area where we stay, the cabins.
Yep.
I've been at Champlain when it was flooded to the point that the water was at the bottom of the cabin. Like, there was no beach. There were no steps. The water was at the cabin.
Wow,
Holy
that's like
hell.
8 feet
Yeah.
high.
It was literally 8 feet high. It was, you might remember this. It was probably like 10 years ago.
Dude, it must
But
have been like
yeah,
going through
that was-
Whitewater Rapids coming
that was
through
the
there.
that was the year that I caught a 17-pound pike that year.
Oh my
Fishing a
god.
jerkbait, yeah. But that was like it was like astronomical flooding. You almost couldn't get over the road to get out to like the islands that go out there. Like the water was
Yeah, the
literally
causeway?
over the road, and they had signs that were like pass at your own risk, and like
Holy
you're
crap.
driving through like this much water on the road to get over there.
Going like 10 miles an hour in a hydroplane.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
When was that?
Yeah, I think it was 10 years ago. I don't know. I don't remember the date, but it was remarkable.
That's insane. Oh, that's the river.
That's you're supposed to, he's
Wow.
literally supposed to be underwater in that photo.
Let me see.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I did see. There you go. Kevin had a great question. What factors decide between using a frog or punching, or do they just go together? Oh, that guy.
So
Whichever one you get bit on
that's
first.
super hard because a lot of the stuff that I'm going to punch through is too thick for a fish to come up to get with a frog. But at the same time, I'm also punching stuff like lighter stuff. If I'm throwing a skirted punch rig, I'm throwing that around the more sparse pads where you could throw a frog. And typically, I'll punch, and whoever's in the back of the boat or my partner who's with me will have a frog on, so we can do the 1-2 and figure out which one's going to produce more. That's pretty much straightforward. How we've always done it.
I like it. I'm not going to question it. And you're
If
the
one's
man to
gonna
ask.
get,
That's why you're here.
if I'm starting to get like 4 or 5 fish on a punching setup, and he's getting 1 fish on a frog, then he'll switch to a punching setup. If it's vice versa, like he'll start smoking them on a frog, then I'll put on a frog. I already have one tied on because I have.
But would you
Always.
say they go hand in hand? Like those when the fish are positioned in there, those are the two baits that you would use?
Not always though, because sometimes like it depends on how thick it is too.
Like you think
Because
there's
it's-
certain times where a frog won't do anything because they
Yeah,
won't be able to see it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that I'm punching that's so thick that the frog, there's no way a fish can get through it.
You have to punch through a foot of
I
grass to
literally,
get to
I
it.
literally have a collapsible canoe paddle in my boat,
Yeah.
so I can get the fish out of what I'm punching. That's how thick of stuff I'm talking about.
Crazy.
It's
Like people think shallow water is like, oh, you don't understand. I caught a 4.5 pounder this weekend in 2 inches of water. Literally 2 inches of water.
Damn.
And he was
Just
just
chilling
sitting there. I was like, let's try this. Whoop. Crack. My partner's like, oh,
when that
nice.
line sings.
That's the best. That
Oh man,
Yep.
it's just screaming for help is what it is.
the line's like, I'm gonna blow.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Looking up to the end of the screen.
No internet memes for you. Sean, we found you a tournament partner.
Do it.
Who are you pointing at?
You,
This guy.
Oh, I don't know who Sean is.
Sean Miller. He's a good dude.
Never heard of him.
He's one of our friends.
Never heard of him.
I don't know
You
who
should
that
you
is.
should fish. You should come up and fish the Berkshire Classic
He's kind
with
of a
him.
dick. He's not really the nicest person in the world.
I'll do it if you pay me $1,000.
If you win, you get $1,000.
I want guaranteed money.
He's a local dude too, so.
Yeah, he lives like 20 minutes from the lake.
Well, we'll see about it.
I'm trying to wait. Oh, so are you doing the Champlain trip next spring or no? I forget. Probably not.
I am.
Okay,
But it's
I'm-
not going to be the same weekend.
That's right. So
I have to move it later.
oh, that's right. And your wife is coming.
I'll have a child.
We won't be there.
Child will be there. What do you mean you won't be there?
Oh,
Where are you going to go?
what do you mean?
Lake Ontario for the last week of the early season Canadian opener.
I hate you so much. That's okay.
What'd you say?
You can bring the baby on the boat. Baby and boat both start with a B.
It's just a slightly
And
longer
then there's
drive.
Bass, so all 3 of them go together.
Triple B?
And beer.
I already found
Quadruple
a
B?
giant Airbnb
You're not
that
gonna
is
convince
dirt cheap.
This is not my decision.
I know. I'll see. I'll text Kate. It'll be fine.
You
Say,
follow
hey,
up with her.
Listen. What do I need to do to make this happen? I will come change diapers for 2 days.
That's fair. That might do it.
I'll try it.
I know how much that's worth, Dennis.
I'll try changing a diaper.
I will cover
Everybody
2
gets
days.
one day with
Andrew
the
will cover
baby.
4 days.
Why doesn't he have a diaper on? Well, he shit too much, so I just said let it flow.
Andrew just put him in his pocket.
Where's his diapers and why is there a garden hose in here?
Why is there shit everywhere?
The baby's just in the sink.
I swear to
trying to be
God, I'm a good parent.
2 days. 2 days.
Today,
We're
yeah,
good.
We're
you're
good
great.
to go. You don't
We were
have
like-
to worry about the baby. We'll take care of it for you.
5
It'll be
miles
fine.
out.
It's not the worst idea.
I've got plenty of room in my rod lockers.
Live well, it'll live. It's terrible. Wife's
Oh,
watching,
I
sorry.
say. Sean did actually ask a good question though. Best time and place to throw a giant swim bait in the fall.
Everywhere.
Is that pointed at him or me?
Andrew first.
Literally everywhere. You could catch them anywhere from the bank out to over 40, 50 feet of water. It all depends on where they're going to chase it from. Really. I mean, I'll go from, who were we with when I hopped on the boat with you guys? It was David Roy. It was in the fall.
I like that guy.
Yep.
I went up. You
He's a good
guys
dude.
picked me up. First cast.
Oh,
Cast in
yeah.
about 2 feet of water. Boom, caught one. And then a couple weeks later, I was fishing. Where the hell was I? Who was I with?
Were you with Nate?
No.
The day you caught the sticks pounder.
Yeah, no. That was summer last year.
I like
Spring
that
this
one.
year.
You don't hear that one very often. You hear the tree pounding.
But I
a
had
lot.
no. It was the year before when we went to Newfound with Dean,
Oh yeah,
and I
Did you say
brought
his
that
name is the Dean?
the Dean.
Dean
The Dean.
The Dean.
and I
This is my friend.
called out like a 4.5 pound smallie out of 40 feet of water with a depths 250. So it came right to the boat. It was crazy.
Do you call me the Dennis?
Yes.
The D.
The D.
The D. I can live with that. That's not terrible. I'm going to tell you my preference.
Did you see Sean's comment over there? I'm not going to read it out loud.
Absolutely, dude.
All right, sorry, Dennis. You're going
Maybe I
to
will
actually
fish with
answer the
him.
real question.
I might fish with him now. That might have convinced me.
I keep trying.
So
We're tongue punching that one.
here's the way that I look at the fall, and I could be totally wrong. But the thing that I've noticed at least in the fall, there he is. There's no more guessing anymore. It just came right out. There it is.
I'm pretty sure my
It's out
boss
in the
watches
open.
this every once in a
It's
while.
out. It's out in the open.
This is bad.
There it goes.
Sorry.
So we're sorry.
You guys need to stop.
Sean, look what you did.
I'm out. Or get fired. Be right back.
So you were saying?
So, I don't know if you found the same thing, but in the fall, the thing that I've noticed is that I feel like the fish focus on like little tiny young of the year bait in like the early to mid fall, like the bait that was born that year.
Right.
And then like I'll do much better with, that's why I said 2.8 Kitech, because like I'll do much better with like little tiny things for like the majority of the fall. But then once you get into like November and like mid-November, and you know when you're out there and like you're fishing a jerkbait or something, you start getting like perch that are like the biggest perch you've caught that year, and it's like, Jesus, like where are all the
stupid big
yeah.
perch. Yeah.
Once that happens, then I feel like those are like the water's cold, and this is just something that I made up in my mind, but in my mind, the water gets to a certain point where like the fish go from being like, I want to eat 50 times a day and I want to eat a bunch of small fish, to now my metabolism is low and I want to eat one big thing, and like I want to just be active once for 1 minute, and then I'll have a big meal. And I feel like that's when like you're getting
go
those big
settle
perch,
down.
and that's when I'll start to use a big bait, when it's like the water's cooled down enough in like November, and it's like I no longer feel like they want to eat a mouthful of little tiny things. I think they want to eat one big thing.
The fall bite for big baits is
Late
like,
fall, yeah.
is like nothing
I
else.
Right. I think it's better than the spring. That
Like when those trees start to change and it starts to cool off at night,
Oh,
Yeah.
game on.
Do you find that
when
similar
big glides work the
deep
best.
water as well? Because I'll do the same thing like shallow water. Like I'll throw something that has like a crawl-esque style thing or a bluegill-esque style feature in the late summer, and then I'll like when this time of year in the fall comes, I'll bulk that profile up to like twice the size.
Yep, I do that deep water too. Yeah. I'll use this is one of the only times of year where I'll use like a 5-inch bait on a drop shot or something like
Right.
that, and like 5 inches isn't that long, but for a drop shot
No.
bait, it's pretty big.
Right.
Yes,
and
it
like
is.
it's very average, Andrew, and it's okay. But it's like that. Yeah, but like I agree. This is even deep water. I think it's just regardless of the depth. Like that's just a thing that's in my mind, and I don't know if it's true or not. But in my mind, it's like early fall is a bunch of little bait, and then late fall is like one really big bait. Like that's what they want.
I feel like that it's like that cusp of that like late fall to like winter bite, because once you get beyond that like late fall into that winter bite, I feel like you got to downsize.
Oh yeah,
again.
yeah. Because then they don't want anything.
Right.
Then they don't want to do anything.
But there's like it's like a big bait, like
It all
small bait,
depends.
big bait, small bait again.
But it's also the speed that you're fishing as well. Because like
Why,
summer,
Jesus
summer you
Christ.
want to slow. In my mind, summer you want to slow down. Like deep summer, you want to slow down.
yeah.
As soon
See, I'm
as
the
it-
complete
soon
opposite
soon
of
as
summer.
the temp starts coming down, you want to speed up a little bit, and then when it really drops off to being really cold, then you slow down again.
But it depends. You're
Look
not.
at KVD in the summer.
Yeah, right. You the way that you fish though.
Besides,
You fish for the techniques that you use and stuff. You fish for fish that want to eat something. Like
I fish for big fish.
fair, but
So
but like
I'm like reaction.
But
baits.
exactly.
Right.
That's the way that I fish too. That's why I use so many crankbaits and I deep crank and I fish swim baits and things like that. Like my goal when I'm fishing is that I don't want that fish to want to eat the bait. I want that fish to have to eat the bait because
Right.
I'm like if
was
I
very
like
well
if I'm
said.
taking a baseball and I throw it at you, you're just gonna catch it.
This
and
is
like
the same.
that.
This is
I don't
how
know
we
about
can get
Or it's gonna
together
hit you
with
in the face. But
deep water and shallow water. It's like the exact same thing. That's
Yeah.
exactly my mindset
Yeah.
into what I'm doing. Is whether it's 2 inches or 2 feet or 10 feet of water that I'm punching, they don't want to bite that. It's coming past their head
Right.
so quickly and moving through. They're just like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a complete
they have no
reaction
choice.
bite.
Yeah, they have no
And
choice to
it's
bite it.
if I'm not punching, it's a frog, which is also 90% reaction,
Yep.
or like a buzzbait, which is 100% reaction.
That's the thing about deep cranking. Like deep cranking that I try to explain to everybody, like it's not about the fish wanting to bite it. They don't look at a crankbait and say like, "Oh yeah, that looks like my everyday dinner and I'm going to eat it." Like it's about that thing smashing through their house and they go like, "Ah," and they just react to it and they just lash out at it.
Honestly,
like that.
I started and bought a bunch of deep cranks from watching the last Reel Northern Bass Talk when you were on it talking about deep cranks.
Yeah.
So I picked up a bunch of deep cranks, the most god-awful, hideous colors you could ever imagine.
Usually the best ones.
Right, and that's what everybody was saying. It's a reaction bite. They want to be able to see it from a mile away and just. And I caught a couple fish and I was like, "This is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
What's going on?"
Yep.
It's like a chartreuse, neon, black, purple, like every color on the
Yep.
planet, and they're like,
And this
"Why
is
does this work?"
Yeah, and-
because it's a reaction bite. That's
right.
why.
In my mind, this is the time of year of like when you're not getting bit. I go faster and faster and faster until like I will never slow down in the fall unless the water is like in the
Right.
40s. If the water is not in the 40s, if I'm not getting bit, I'm using more and more reaction things to try to just like trigger something until I find out where they are and then I try to figure them out.
Love jerk baits in the fall.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
yeah, jerkbait is 100% a reaction.
Oh, I
bite.
love a jerkbait
It's
bite.
100% what it is.
Jerk baits and like
BFS bait to punch. I don't know. I don't think you could do that. I don't know. You could do that.
So
need to punch.
to that point about
There is
swim
actually.
baits, though, I didn't get to hear a lot while I stepped out from what they said. But one of the things I did want to circle back on is if any of you have not seen the Real Northern Bass Talk live stream we did with swim bait scrutiny, we talked like that's literally all we talked about was swim baits, and we talked about that colder weather time of the year extensively in that show as well. And so it's Tom and Tyler behind the channel. I think Tyler ends up doing a little bit more of the video work and stuff, but they both know so much about big swim bait fishing. And Tom said, as we were talking about that cold weather stuff, like getting into the fall and then getting into even colder weather, he was like, fish from what we've seen are really kind of similar to humans in the regards that we get into colder weather, right? Now imagine you as a human are sitting on your couch and there is a disgusting, ugly, freezing ass snowstorm outside. And you look up and there is a little bag of chips at the end of the driveway. Are you going to go get it? Probably not. You're not that hungry. Now, if there's a guy staying there with an extra large cheese pizza that just came out of the oven, you're going to get your ass up and go get that.
I'm going to get
and
that
that's what
and
fish
a bag
are
of
with swim
chips.
baits.
Or if I find out the Lakers are
You're the
fighting.
2-pounder that we all like get mad at but are also happy at.
Why? What were you thinking?
I was hungry.
You just like
That's get
I'm
the
the random
net.
random bluegill.
You're that 18-inch
the hell are you
crappie.
doing here? I don't know.
I don't know how I got here.
You hooked me in my neck.
I would be stoked for an 18-inch crappie.
Oh man,
I'd be so happy.
That would
I did that.
No, you did 19 3/4.
No, 18 and a half, 18 and a quarter.
Did you see
Oh,
my
I thought it
big
was
crappie?
19.
Have you seen my big crappie?
Did you state record?
I don't have my. Yeah,
That's
no.
pretty close.
He
No, it was state record.
Going to the
It
tip.
was longer than the state record, but
Yeah, I don't know if it weighed more, but it was longer.
Was it 2 pounds?
I don't know. Probably.
it's a donkey. Do you still have that picture?
I do. I just don't have my phone on me. It's on my.
Oh, I want to see.
Instagram.
I want to see his.
I'm not going to look at your Instagram.
Sean did ask a
me
question. I was. It's funny because like the whole point of this is supposed to be heavy and finesse gear, and it's almost all exclusively been heavy, which is fine. But I just want to make sure that people had a chance to ask any of the finesse questions too. Although I did like what Alec did say. We like to talk about fun things, Sean. Heavy gear is fun. You know what though? It is
Finesse
fun to
is
go out and
also
finesse every
super
once in a
fun.
I don't
while.
know why it's blurry, but
How
You
big
know
was
what?
That one?
Crankbait. Oh,
I think it was like 18.
sorry, Richard. I just saw your email. I will get that squared away. I'll make sure that's in the mail tomorrow. My bad. I did not get to that.
What did you do?
The crankbait winner from last week. I totally spaced getting that shipped out. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not like I don't have a full-time job and everything else. I'm sorry. I'm struggling here. I started a new role at my job and it's kicking my ass.
Congrats on the new role.
Thanks.
Yes, congrats.
Is it though? No, it's a
I
good
hopefully
thing.
hired somebody where I'll have weekends off.
Hell yeah.
Finally.
That's awesome.
Oh, come on, we can do it.
Everybody keeps saying something about a peach bum.
Oh, here
you miss like 80. There's like 80
I
comments
do,
to go
there's-
through.
there's so
a
many.
lot.
I tried
It's
to
gonna
go
take,
through.
It's going to take an hour to go through these comments.
This year?
Ryan did ask, tell me
3-4
your
years
juice
ago?
on an underspin and give me your thoughts on the Great Lakes Finesse
definitely.
drop minnow on a jig head. Oh. Underspin. If there's anybody in this room that knows anything about underspins, it's Dennis.
That's a big one.
Let me see again.
First of all, I will say fall is a fantastic time to throw an underspin. And if you're not throwing one, now is the time. Now, fall, winter, I mean, you could throw it all year, but fall, winter up until like
I got
May.
used to throwing underspins, but like big underspins.
I think underspins are cool with like a 5-inch.
I was using like 6-7 inch
Okay.
underspins with like
Not with this phone.
6, 7, 8 foot of water.
You're talking
like,
legit things. Like,
Screenshot
so I throw, like this time of year, I'll throw a 3/16 ounce cool baits underspin on BFS with 5-pound line. And I'll either use a 2.8
Share that
Kitech
picture.
if the fish are more active, and if the fish are like kind of funky or they're suspended or something like that, then I'll go to the Megabass Hasdong Shad because that one has it has like a Kitech is doing this in the water and a Hasdong Shad's doing this, and like sometimes in the fall, Sean,
What?
Listen, I don't know, man. If it shows up on my screen,
what's going on here, Sean?
Yeah, who is that?
I think that if the fish are in a funk and you use a Hasdong Shad and like you have that like the little less wide rather than a Kitech that's doing this, like I think that makes a big difference. So those are the two. Like if I were gonna pick two, I haven't tried the Beast Coast one though, so I don't know how that fits into the
the slow flow.
Slow
fits
flow?
into this. Yeah, but
It's super.
but the Kitech you reel very slow and it still has that wobble. But sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you just want this, and like that's why I have those two in my arsenal. But I gotta try the slow flow and see
that
where it fits
also
in.
works crazy good on an underspin too.
This
The Magic Flick?
Yeah.
with no action.
Oh, it's
That's a good idea.
that tail on that bait has quite a lot of action.
'Cause look at the Great Lakes baits. Have you seen the Great Lakes baits?
That's what somebody just commented on
Yeah.
this.
The Great Lakes baits on the
Right.
underspins. That's what pretty much won all of what the last elite event was on, was the Great Lakes baits.
I will use. I haven't tried it on underspin, but on a screw head, I will use things that don't have a tail, and just like it's basically just literally a soft spy bait with not a lot of action on the tail, just the rocking of the head, and like it's pretty good. Pretty good when they're not biting.
Real quick, I wanted to share. Well, let me hide that first for anybody that was curious. That's that.
They're tiny.
Well,
like a rain
how big was
bubbling
that again,
shaker.
Andrew?
It's 18 and a quarter.
They're like small,
I don't know
small.
what it weighed.
18 and a quarter inch crappie that Andrew caught 2 years ago.
neutral
200. Oh
weights, he did.
Jesus,
3,
200. That's
4
4 years ago almost,
4
dude.
years ago.
That's photoshopped, I think.
It's photoshopped
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think
100%.
that. I don't think that was you. I think your face is photoshopped.
My face is photoshopped on that body.
Your hair was tidier and your beard was thicker. Although, yeah, no, your beard is trimmed now.
I'm just getting old.
Everything about you looks better in that picture. You
Yeah, I
look
look
terrible
great
compared
in
to
that
that
picture.
now.
Now I just look like a bag of shit.
That's a
I can't believe how bad you look compared to
Monster
that picture.
crappie, though.
Fucking huge.
That was cool. That was a good fish.
What did Kevin say? What type of weights are you using getting down to 50 feet? Oh,
3/8
dude, loaded
to
question.
half ounce.
Most of the time, 100% agree. Every
on a
once
jig.
in a while, getting down to a quarter ounce, like if you're throwing a drop shot, you do want to throw a quarter ounce because those bigger fish will come up. And even though it's weird, right? They'll either eat it on the fall or they will follow it down, but they won't eat it if it's off the bottom. And then that's where that quarter ounce for a drop shot comes into play because they'll see it, they'll come up, and it's just at that right fall rate where they'll follow it down, but they won't eat it until it comes to a dead stop. But it has to be off the
All right,
bottom.
this is news to me because that just blew my mind. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
And
That-
it's funny because like that's something I've known for a long time because the Rockets, Jim Rocket and his son Travis Rocket, I'm very good friends with both. Travis I'm better friends with. He's a few years younger than me, and I owe the foundation of what I know to fishing for smallmouth and deep glacial lakes to those two. They taught me the very basics, and so
Guess so.
God damn
I
it,
guess I
MD.
think it's all soup for them.
So, and that's
love
one of the
it.
things that like Travis still does to this day. Like he'll almost exclusively fish a quarter ounce weight on a drop shot, and he'll tie like a 3-foot tag
Yeah.
because he's banking on those bigger fish to come up and see it and
Yeah.
follow it. Either they're going to smoke it on the fall or they're
That's
going to
a
follow it down and then eat
Crazy
it when it
good,
gets close
like
to the bottom.
mind blowing to me. That's just changed how I drop shot fish. because-
We've talked about this that the way that I fish a drop shot, I don't even work the drop shot. I flip it. I let it get down to the bottom. I hop it like 3 times. I reel it in and flip it again.
That's what I do, but
Is that-
I'll fish that on like weed edges. So,
Well, I'll
like,
do that on weed edges too,
fish,
but
like if I'm fishing a drop shot, I always have one tied on. I always have one on my deck, but I don't ever go out past like
I don't know.
12 or
that's
15
what, That's what
foots.
you do in 60 feet too. In 60 feet, I will sometimes use a 3/8 ounce if there's wind, but if there's no wind, I will use a quarter ounce and that's it. I'll use a quarter ounce. Anytime I'm more than 30 feet, I use a quarter ounce. And it's just, I would say at least, if not 100%, at least 90% of the bites that you get are as it's falling or immediately when it hits the bottom. That they'll see it coming down and they'll swim over to it. It'll hit the bottom and then dunk. And when you go to lift up the first time, like, oh, there's a fish on it.
Man, that makes so much sense. We need to fish together. Oh my god!
Can I come? I'll just be on the back of the boat, be on that thing. Told ya.
So what's the formal answer to this question? I would say drop shot is a quarter ounce 90% of the time, unless it's windy, and then it's 3/8 ounce.
I would say 3/8 ounce 90% of the time because that's like it works. Is it necessarily always the best thing?
I disagree.
No, but
I like
I would say
half
the
ounce.
majority of people use 3/8 ounce and are extremely successful.
I disagree.
For what? Drop shot?
I disagree.
I will say,
He's in the minority, but he's right.
I disagree.
That's the thing. They're both right. Either a quarter or 3/8.
in the winter when you're dragging a drop shot,
Half ounce.
Oh, drop
I want a
shot,
half
yeah.
ounce all day long.
I want that. I want
In the
that
winter,
bastard on the
I'm going
bottom, and I
jig,
don't want
no
to
matter
move.
In the
what.
winter or the fall, I want to be able to feel the bottom and I want to feel the rocks ticking because that's how I learned to fish in the river.
I don't even use drop shot in the winter, so
I
I
mean,
guess use that.
You never fished winter smallies in the
Oh, no,
river?
I've done it. I just don't use a drop shot.
I fished the bottom.
You're missing out.
With
I
jig.
use other things.
That's like how
like
we
to
got
catch
to
'em.
know each
5-inch
other.
spark shad on a
I can't
1 ounce.
tell him that he's missing
1
out
ounce
because he
jig head.
just hammers him regardless.
I know.
So it's like it's a moot point. It's like
But
why am I
doing it
telling you
wrong.
something that's going to make you better?
Just kidding.
So for me, drop shot, quarter ounce, 3/8 ounce. The other things that I'll use in deep water, Demiki rig, and
Yeah.
the Miki rig, I'll use either 3/16 ounce or quarter ounce, depending on how far. And that's when the fish are suspended, and that depends on how far down they're suspended. I would say less than 20 feet, I always use 3/16. More than 20 feet, I use quarter. I don't really ever use more than that because I want it to drift in the water. I don't want it to hang heavy.
That's something-
I want it to drift.
We need to do better at with this winter, Andrew. Now that I think about it, because literally the only thing I have for Demiki is 3/8 or heavier.
And it probably works, but like
There's been plenty of days where they sit on it for like 60 seconds.
It's probably
and
not
then they're
moving,
like,
right?
Nah.
It's because it's probably like just like a
Cannonball just hanging.
an F brick hanging there,
right.
and like you want it to look like a smelt that's like a smelt isn't sitting there solid no matter what the water's doing. It's drifting around with it,
Which is why I like. So that's
Secret.
it.
I'm
That's a
gonna show
quarter
it if you
ounce.
don't-
What? Don't you dare!
Don't
I don't
show
know.
that.
You can't see it, but there's 3 of these bait hanger hooks.
That have
There's
those?
3 of them.
Can I have
with
one?
just
He's one of
those.
my new
Can
sponsors.
I have one?
Yes, you can.
Thank
Is
you.
he really?
Yes.
Oh hell yeah!
Wait, what
Super
happened?
cool.
I have 2 more baits. Hold on. The other thing,
hooked up with
the
him
other
this
2
year.
baits when I'm fishing like 50 feet or whatever the thing was,
Nice.
is a blade bait, and a blade bait I almost always use half ounce.
Weird. I don't.
Yep.
Still,
That I agree with.
And then I'll use if the fish are like blasting a blade bait, and I think I can get a bigger one, then I'll use a jigging spoon, and I'll use a 1 ounce jigging spoon.
Did you just say don't?
no, he did not.
Don't even.
No, I said never mind.
Did not repeat what he just said.
Good. All right. We're
Just
trying.
laughing this stream. I'm not even. Yeah, this is fun.
We're trying not to find the threshold that we get this channel banned.
That would have been really
We're on
close.
the line.
I'll walk the line. Did you just punch your mic again?
It's
No,
with,
dude,
it was
I've-
with my face. I
I've
think.
smacked that thing.
No, it's-
with my
we're good. We're
noodle
back.
So many times.
And we're back.
Talons, outboards, mics, doesn't matter. Andrew smacks them all.
These guys need some new heads. Oh, Sean Miller. He needs new. He doesn't even have the right heads, and I'm supposed to fish with this guy.
Go Fish Dan from Ben's Tackle Shack, by the way. I still like old school Zoom finesse worms, shaky head. Anyone like small finesse worms, or is it just all about the dead now? No, dude, I still throw the hell out of a shaky head when I can. Although, oddly enough, I can't get bit on it like I used to. I don't understand. I think it's just one of those cyclical things. I've got a ton of different baits for it.
Throw a shaky head in the summer. You don't throw a Ned rig in the summer, really. Like, I
Plus
didn't.
you're for smallies.
I didn't throw. I haven't thrown a Ned rig. The last time I threw a Ned rig was when I was on Lake Champlain in May. That was the last time I threw a Ned rig on any rod.
I don't remember the last time I threw a Ned rig.
I've caught,
Because we haven't been that desperate yet.
I've caught right. I've
I
caught.
mean,
I've-
that's like
we
that's
are,
like
I'll
the
just grind
Sanko
it
too.
out.
Like,
you know,
you-
like that's like.
Thank you.
you
Do
know.
we really want to throw a Sanko today?
You know the
No,
lake.
We don't.
I'm not going to say the name, but you know the lake that's in western New Hampshire that has pike in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that lake, and that lake you can go out there and blast them on a shaky head, and like I rely on that like every summer to go out there and like I catch a 4 every time I go out there fishing the humps on a
Yep.
shaky head. Like that's what I'll
That
do
sounds
instead
like
of a
a lot
Ned
of
rig.
fun.
There's a local lake where I live, like 10 minutes down the road, where I grew up fishing, and a shaky head is the deal. Like, you see a rock, you put that bait where that rock is, or
Yeah.
within the vicinity of that rock, and you will get a fish.
Oh yeah,
Every single time.
I don't really have
The
a lot
weed
of.
edge, everything.
I feel like fishing a Ned rig, like I don't have a lot of interest in fishing a Ned rig unless I know like there are days on Lake Champlain where it's like if you throw a Ned rig, you'll go out and you'll catch like 73 pounders, and it's like I want to do that, and I'll do that.
Right.
But like if I'm gonna go out and it's like I'm gonna throw a Ned rig because I'm desperate and I need to catch one 6-incher, like I don't need that 6-incher. I don't care. Like that, it's not that important to me.
No.
I
If
feel
I
like
could go all
late,
day
late winter,
without
it starts
catching
to play a
like a
bigger
1
role,
pounder, I'd be
though.
fine.
That's what I'll do in the winter. I'll throw a Ned. I'll throw a Ned rig in the winter instead of a drop shot, and I've always done better on it.
Right.
DJ, this one was
Go half
specifically
ounce,
for
Jay.
you. Is chowder considered a soup?
Let it sit on the bottom. Yeah, it is actually.
I think it is. I think it's a form of soup.
We were just talking about making that at home.
That's
the other
chili
day.
a soup.
I want a bread bowl with some good seafood chowder.
I think chili
It's been
is.
too long.
It's like a
I think
gumbo.
they're each their own. As a chef, we'll just say
Welcome to Chef Talk.
soup and chowder. Yes. Soup and chili. No.
You don't think so?
No.
It's too meaty.
Is a taco a sandwich?
No, hot dog.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, it's like a Mexican calzone.
Ooh.
It is a hunk of meat
What do you-
between two slices of
Yeah,
bread.
what do you consider a sandwich then? Because a sandwich is two pieces
I would
of two
consider
pieces
a hot
of bread
dog a sandwich.
and meat. Right, a hot dog's a sandwich, and a
Because
taco
sometimes
has
it
to be a sandwich too.
splits
Then,
apart.
right?
Don't even get in this conversation.
I think a taco is a
A
sandwich. then.
BLT is not a sandwich.
He knew what I was about to
BLT is
say.
absolutely
BLT is absolutely a
No,
sandwich.
it's not.
It's like the
Andrew,
most
you get out of
delicious
here.
thing.
I will swear really bad on this show.
I will get us banned.
We have literally talked about this multiple times. Somebody just randomly comes up and he's like, he gets adamant. He's like, it's not a sandwich.
It's a bullshit piece of shit freaking sandwich. That's not
So
a sandwich.
roast beef sandwich with lettuce and tomatoes, not a sandwich?
Does it have actual meat on it besides bacon?
It's roast beef. Is bacon not meat?
Bacon
Bacon's
is meat.
Okay.
But it's not
But-
a sandwich.
Andrew, you're just wrong. It's
not a
it's
slice-
okay to be
it's
wrong.
Not sliced turkey. It's not sliced ham.
It's
not
liver.
Those aren't the only
no
sandwiches.
slice. There's a bullshit. Fuck. God, it's not.
You can make a po' boy. What's a po' boy?
Blow me.
A po' boy is a
Fair
sandwich
point.
with fish.
Fair point.
Fish is not a deli meat. I got you on this.
I'm done
one.
with this.
You think a tuna sandwich not a sandwich? Then?
It is a sandwich.
It has sandwich in the name.
Yes, it is.
See, thank you. I just saw it. Sir Altitude literally beat me to it. I was about to start framing the thought in my brain. Ham salad isn't a salad, Andrew.
No, it's a sandwich.
It doesn't count as a sandwich either.
I hate all you.
Because of your love for ham salad, your
Oh,
opinion
they're
on
so
BLTs
good.
is now
I love
invalid.
ham salad.
Dude, where the hell
Ham
was
salad's
I
good.
yesterday?
Ham salad is
So
good.
good.
Yeah, that sounds
Especially if
good.
you get like
Yesterday.
fresh, good
2 days
homemade
ago.
pickles too. Make it that. Oh,
Oh, I was at
Yeah, the village store.
no, I was at the porch party for.
Look at how many viewers
At
we've lost
Mona's.
while we talked about sandwiches.
Yeah, I love
5.
sandwiches. But
There's a lot of people that are like, I don't care about sandwiches.
I was at Brandon Memo's house for the porch party, and they had ribs and all sorts of stuff. And I walked
Sean
inside, and
Mills,
there's a
right.
big platter of ham
Salad
salad
juice.
sandwiches. I gorged.
Like a basking shark.
They were gone.
Like you're a whale and they are
Just
the
a
krill.
basking shark, and they're just,
God, I keep this beer is delicious, but I keep burping. I'm sorry. Alec did ask, anybody throw their blade baits in a more parabolic casting setup, or am I just casting snob? No, I mean it makes sense. It's,
Hey, you
it's
want-
essentially treble hook.
Yeah, you want it on parabolic. I throw it on like a crankbait rod. I usually throw it on a spinning rod, but
I've thrown it on a
Same.
spinning rod almost
I've
exclusively.
thrown it on jerkbait rod and crankbait
I
rod.
throw it
and
on a
stuff, it's
heavier
fine, but-
spinning rod though.
Yeah,
It depends on how deep and what style. Like,
Yes.
And what model?
Yes.
Right.
Because
If
like
it-
the
if-
Binskys, they're a slightly more stout treble
Yeah.
hook on the back.
Yeah. I think that if I'm fishing really deep, I want braid, and I don't like throwing braid to leader on a bait cast. I just throw it on. I like it on spinning. So like if I'm fishing, I don't know, deeper than 15 feet, I throw it on a spinning rod. But like I fish
But-
it in the river a lot, and I'll throw it on a casting rod.
But when you throw it on your spinning rod, are you throwing a braid leader or okay? I was
Braid
gonna say
leader.
because I do, and I specifically use
for what?
a slightly more blade bait.
Mega Bass Dyna response.
Yeah.
I only use. Well, I use 3. I'll tell you what they are in a moment.
Boy. So I
In a
use
moment.
one of my Lew's 7'2" medium moderate. No, sorry, medium heavy. Yeah, it's a medium fast spinning rod. 7'2"
It's a
medium fast.
medium
Okay.
heavy
I had to think about it.
fast.
I didn't want to say heavy.
So it's not that
So-
strong, but it's kind of stiff.
But exactly,
Yeah.
it kind of resides halfway
Yeah.
between a medium and a medium heavy, and I throw it on braid because
plus.
yes,
Medium plus.
because there's plenty of times where we get bit with that thing just laying on its side on the bottom.
Most
And
of the time.
that's where I want that braid and everything to make sure I feel that.
I would say 98% of the bites are when it's sitting on the bottom.
My 98% of my bites are when I
You go to lift it and there's a fish on it.
no, it's like I lift it and as it's falling back down, that's when I get bit.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I feel
very,
like
very
I'm
few of my
not-
bites are when it's actually
I
just
feel
sitting
like
on the
it's
bottom.
like lake dependent
Really?
almost.
I would agree with that.
For what?
Yes, and very rarely.
Sorry, I just speak.
For blade
I
bait.
know what you. I 100% have been where you are, but I also 100% know. But now I'm thinking about it in my brain. I was like, it feels very like lake dependent.
Jerry.
because,
it
like,
could be.
If I'm fishing the river, I
That's
feel like
usually
it's
where I
on
do
the
it.
Fall, but
Really?
if we're fishing in Vermont, it's
Well,
different.
I do use it in Champlain a lot too, but I feel like almost I've probably caught like 1,000 fish on a blade bait, and I feel like very few of them have been like I'm lifting and like, oh, there's a bite. It's almost always like I lift it,
Dud.
but I also lift it like this. I'm not like I'm like zoop.
I would say it depends on the conditions for me. Like water temp wise, that's what I'm looking at when. That's the only thing that I
Like
can
that
probably
day
do
we
fishing
were
deep
at
is
the tournament, and you're just sitting at your console. He was sitting down.
Have
at
you
his
ever
console
had,
during
like-
the tournament? Blade bait.
I was sitting
mean,
I was literally
but if
at
the
the
water's
back
super
of the
cold,
boat.
Have you ever like gotten on like an incredible blade bait bite?
I haven't.
Yeah.
When you
been a
go
while.
to lift up, that's like one of my favorite bites. Is
It's
when
like stroking a jig almost.
yes, when
you gotta just,
when you're jacking it like that, and then you go to do it, and you're like, like that is one of like the coolest like.
it's so good.
I want to do that
So
real bad.
the last time I got on a really good blade bait bite like that in the winter was before he was coming out with me in the winter. And the first year that he really started coming out with me in the winter was the first year that our blade bait bite went to absolute crap. And it's just
sounds
weird.
right.
The last
what
two
made me
winters,
hate
it's
them.
been terrible. I mean, terrible. And it's been across the board, regardless of where we've gone. The best day we had for blade bait fishing was this year on January 2nd out in Mallets Bay in Champlain. And it wasn't even that good of
yeah.
a day, but we still caught like a dozen or so fish.
And I caught a
Do you know-
It was
catfish.
January 2nd, so it was like, come on.
Do you know the lake that I go to often that is named after a man?
Yes. I know. You keep telling me about that place and how good it is for that.
That is excellent for blade baits.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense given the layout and structure. Andrew, you know, horsepower restriction there, but we just say F it. We go
I'll
anyway.
I'll tell you.
This is a
after.
New Hampshire
It's,
lake.
yes, it's got the two
that's
humps
probably
near
why.
the ramp. Your first really
I'll
good
tell
day
you.
of glide
After.
bait
Stop
fishing
giving
was
it
there.
away, Sean. I'll tell him.
I think I might know what it is.
I wanted to figure out the first really good day of glide bait fishing you had was there, and you were fishing the S Waver 6
I've
inch or
taken
something
you
like
there.
that.
I took you there after you ate a giant ass lobster, or you got a giant ass lobster.
He was throwing a small swim bait.
We went striper fishing that day, and then I
Smallish.
said, Andrew, are you
Smallish.
done with your
6
giant
inch
lobster, and do you want to go to this
Oh yeah,
place?
yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right. Okay, yeah.
That
I
He's
know.
getting there, folks.
That place.
Okay, I understand now.
Chili is a stew.
Yeah, it's a
Chili is
small
a stew.
swim bait.
Correct.
But that place on one of the shorelines is a very steep drop off. Early spring, late fall,
all the way
fantastic,
down.
fantastic blade bait spot.
Great comments.
Excellent blade bait spot.
Oh, look, egg salad.
Ken?
Like Dickens.
How about egg salad? We don't talk about
cider.
egg salad. Devil Listen,
It took a second. To really register, but that's pretty good.
That's
What?
great.
sandwich these.
No, read the bottom one.
Not that one. The other one.
Sir Altitude.
I
We
said it
both
out
literally
loud.
said it out loud, and then like, oh no.
Terrible one.
That was a good one. It's all right. I'll get on
Thanks
your
for
level when I
Kevin.
get home.
121 shows successful. Banned on 122. Dean, you made it, dude. I'm like, that's way behind this. For like, oh god, that was 5 minutes ago. I'm so sorry. I like Jerry. What the hell kind of show is this turned into? What the hell is even
Late
that?
night.
Oh god.
You know what game I've been playing a lot lately? Just
PGA.
getting off. Yeah, PGA Tour.
I've been playing PGA a lot too.
Have you?
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, the 2K23 or whatever.
That's right.
You want to play?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of Zelda.
Well, aren't you something?
Dope.
So is my wife.
Is there anything?
I don't know where I was going with that. That was the end of it. My wife really does play a lot of Zelda, so
It's a phenomenal game.
it wasn't a joke. Like there wasn't anything insinuated from that. Like my wife plays Zelda.
You delivered it so dry, like the rest of your humor.
I know,
That
so
does
everyone
my
was
wife.
like, pause.
Is
Is
there
there
more?
punchline?
Nope, that was it. That was the end.
My wife plays Zelda.
That was the end.
I sold my
I'll see you guys
Xbox
next
and-
week.
I sold my Xbox and the PlayStation, and I just like Zelda. I got
phenomenal game.
sick of all the the BS with the online gameplay stuff. And
I'm a peasant. All I play is Rocket League still. However, we
Yes.
did just get Andrew to champion in threes.
No one knows what that means.
There it is.
It means we're good.
it means
we're the-
that
we're
now
the-
we are officially in the top
2.38% or something
top
like
sorry,
that.
guys are
2.8% in the world.
You're losing so
Yes.
many viewers.
You know what? You
cares?
guys should be
Video
impressed
games.
with our nerdism.
I'm gonna unsubscribe from this.
You want to know what
after-
we do on our off time when we're
tonight.
not
they
fishing?
gave 3 more.
Video games. That's about it. Video
Yeah, if I'm
games
not
and-
editing, I'm playing.
All right, dude, Jesus. I have 31 days in
was there-
Rocket League.
Anything that we didn't cover, either finesse or heavy gear related, that you guys wanted to bring up that you were hoping to discuss?
I had one sentence that I wanted to say, and I said it already, so that was it.
Oh,
I'm done. I can leave.
good
now.
job.
Big baits?
It was about big baits, yeah. Big baits versus small baits. You were peeing or something when that happened.
Let's really quick. Let's
I
touch
like
upon
turtles.
color.
All
What are you
right.
making that face for?
Is that
This is just what my face looks like.
is that color for this time of year? Or
Color for this time of the year where we're going into, I would say that we are on the cusp of the end of warm water season. And any day now, maybe in a week, we're going to start to begin that descent towards colder water temps.
Yeah.
And color changes will start to dramatically will start to matter greatly, much more than usual. You can't just get away with your standard green pumpkin every single time.
So I know for my shallow water tactics, I would say there's two colors that I'm looking for and that I'm using pretty much primarily. One is like a Houdini, sort of like a perch-esque kind of color. More of a white. I don't know. It's just a Houdini color. There's nothing.
People should
Oh
know
my
what that
God,
is.
Jerry,
Right.
that
Comic
comment is
color.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'll pair that with like a bait. So I'll use the Liquid Mayhem and I'll use like
believe
the
that
bait
guy's
fish
famous.
one, which is bluegill colored, and that's supposed to imitate the bluegill. Other than that, it's green pumpkin and blue. Green pumpkin blue, green pumpkin black. Literally probably the only two colors that I'll throw for that shallow water, like punching colors or like flipping colors.
Darker color.
Yeah, but you're also punching into an area where there's not really any light, right? Most of the time.
50-50.
Okay.
It's still clear water. But like I know
Yeah, but-
I know if they're going to be feeding on bluegill, I want something
Yes. Okay.
bluegill colored, and then I'll throw that like Liquid Mayhem on there, and that's bluegill scented.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the complete opposite where it's the black and blue or green pumpkin. It's always green pumpkin, black and blue, and then that'll have like a crayfish scent on it. That's pretty much the two things that I'm throwing shallow water anyways.
But are you making any change? What changes are you making that you're willing to share as the water temps start to change? Where we get out of this mid to low 70s kind of plateau we've been at for a while here, and all of a sudden you hit that high 60s, mid 60s, low 60s, upper 50s. Like, what are you changing to?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to everybody.
I'll tell you. You want to really? I'll tell the secrets.
There's not much to
tell all the
change with
secrets.
punching,
Give him enough
honestly.
beer, he'll tell you anything.
I'll tell you the secret. I'll tell you the
Just
secrets.
say anything you want to know,
Yeah,
guy.
I'll tell you the secrets.
What do you
So-
want to know?
all right, so right now the fish are still eating bluegill. So, and they will until they are no longer in the shallows, which may not be until December. So if you're fishing shallow
this
fish,
point, yeah.
right? If you're fishing shallow fish, they're probably eating bluegill. So use bluegill colors, green pumpkin, black and blue, things like that, like DJ said. If you're fishing out deeper, they're probably not eating bluegill. And your best bets are if you're on like a lakes region lake or something like that, where you know that there's smelt or you know that there's alewife or something like that. Use one of those colors. Use white, use silver, use bluegill flash, something like that. Blue, yeah, something that looks like a smelt or an alewife. Or if they're on perch, like I just had a great day fishing things that were eating perch. Use perch color.
He
But
doesn't know what that color is.
this is this this is the time of year.
color?
This is the time of year where they are not really eating crawfish. They're eating fish. So use things that look like the fish that you think that they're eating. And then I will say,
Yeah.
as the winter comes and the water gets really, really cold, then the best color is black. And
Bingo.
I think that's one we can all agree on.
Freedom
though.
Fishing, Common Shiner,
That
Golden Shiner too.
Golden
Yeah.
Shiner
Golden
color.
Shiner,
Which
yeah.
is, it's funny because
Whether it's deep or shallow, that like gold color, it just mimics
looks a little
so
bit like
much.
everything. Yeah.
Yep. I got Andrew and I both got new baits from Tom's Custom Baits just like 2 weeks ago, and when we were talking about it, like what I wanted to get, I ended up settling on a 4-piece like shallow-ish diving crankdown, and in a Golden Shiner because I was like, by
color.
the time I get this, when I'm really gonna be throwing it, that's gonna be like mint.
I got
and
my
the thing swims like a champ.
You know,
I got a 7-inch glide made. Or 8-inch.
Yeah, yours is an 8-inch, mine's 7-inch.
And it's shad colored.
the place where I went that I told you I just went.
Yeah.
Like last week. When I was taking the boat out, and now there's enough water in there that you can continue launching, which never happens this time of year.
What?
And I saw golden shiners there that I swear were this big by the ramp.
I mean, I told you about the fish that was caught there, right? That the guy killed because he's a fucking idiot. 10-4
Oh,
on a live Golden Shiner.
yeah. I'm not surprised by the
Oh,
fish that
it's
I've
a
caught.
giant
Did you
Golden
just say that was
Shiner,
the
by
place
the
that we
way.
were talking about earlier?
No, it's a different place.
It's where I
It's the place I was talking about really earlier.
Yes.
yeah, the trout.
Yes.
With the trout, yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the big trout.
Yes.
I caught a 7-8 there. 2 years ago.
Yeah, bastard. You caught that 8, and then the next spring you catch that 7, 8, and then, like this whole time I'm like, I just want one more over 7. Come on. And he's like, I've got 2.
I had a string. I had a string of like 3 years where I caught one that was just around 7. I caught one that was 8, one that was 7, 8, and one that was like 6, 9 or something like that.
I have to remind myself that
I remember
I
that
am
one.
older than everybody here.
Tiny little pond. I've caught a 7.2 out of here. Tied my PB out of that pond.
You want to see a picture
Ridiculous.
of my fish?
I had a streak of like 2 years where I did really well, and then
And that was when
then
he was
it
8
was,
years old.
and then it was like, okay, here's a big fish, a couple times a year.
Been a lot longer streak than 2 years, folks, and he knows it. I had to keep reminding myself that I am older than all of you, and I have kids.
This was the fish from there,
and
from that place.
nobody else does, but Dennis is about to. And he's going to learn real fast how much harder it gets when you have kids.
7,
And you
8,
can't
4.
fish whenever you want.
He's just naming off giant fish that he catches.
Hold on.
He's just trying
Where's
to
the
ignore
8?
fact
We don't
he's
care about the
having a
7, 8.
child.
Where's the 8?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Give me a
Jerk
second.
bait 8.
Give me a second.
The jerk.
I think it was that one,
It
right?
was jerk bait 8.
I've seen 9s pulled
hard
out
to-
of
it's
a
hard to see it.
particular lake.
That's the 8.
Yeah, I keep going out there.
That's the 8.
Is that out of that same
Yeah,
pond?
it's
No, different one.
That gut looks
See-
like this. Like, if this fish here was that long,
Jesus, dude.
the gut on this thing.
That's what it would. Me too.
Oh my god.
That was a cheap scale. That ain't it.
I'll answer that one next. So you know
It was
what's funny is
struggling to like lift it to take the picture.
when he sent that to me. That was when I was running that new Hampshire_Hampshire_bass_fishing Instagram account. And I was trying to create like a New Hampshire community page, which was a nightmare to keep up with because I was trying to give it much more detail than anybody else was with the community page. I was like trying to like give it some meat. And he sends me that, and then the next weekend, another guy in New Hampshire caught one that was like decimal ounces, like tenths of an ounce away from what yours was.
Yeah.
And 2 totally different baits. You caught yours on a jerk bait, and he caught his on an 8-inch Huddleston. Yeah. And
Same place.
no, but similar area,
Interesting.
similar-ish that way
Interesting.
towards the state.
Interesting.
And I can
He
tell
just
you right
knows
now,
that comment from-
no, I can't even
Okay.
say that. I don't want to give any more
He
information
was
away.
the one that was making fun.
Other
of
than,
Okay.
I will have access to that pond myself shortly because I'm going to help out with a high school team.
Am I invited?
I
have
maybe?
access to a pond now.
I don't
as of
care if I'm
today.
not invited.
You what?
I have access to a lake actually as of today.
Really? It's not the one we keep talking about. That's like,
I have access to a
Okay.
boat.
It's a different one.
well, anyway, Andrew, you are actually invited to this trip for the high school thing where I was invited out to help out with the kids. They just wanted us to talk to them.
Where?
I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to give it away. All I can tell you is that you can't just get on this pond, but because we're helping out with the high school thing, we get to get on this pond. And this is where that 8 1/4 was caught 2 years ago.
Cool.
And these high school kids just went out there and they caught like a near 6-pounder.
Cool.
You do. need
Kids
to get-
always catch the big fish, though.
I know, but this place is extremely unpressured.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. MD, what color would you want invading your house?
Yes, it's Lake Dick
What
Insider.
would cause the most reactions?
I don't think it makes a difference on color, honestly.
I agree.
I don't know.
It's
I think
just
if you're
more of
getting-
like
Yeah.
if.
If it was
Reaction is
BLT
reaction.
colored, I'd be pissed.
Shut up.
Pond
It's like
I think if you're getting a reaction bite, the color doesn't matter as much. Like
Yeah.
obtrusive colors can help
That's like
sometimes.
what
I think.
I was
but-
telling Jesus, asking Dennis about was like when I was got my crankbaits. It's literally every color under the sun. It doesn't make a difference
Holy
what
hell.
color it is. The point of a reaction bait is to be moving so quick that it doesn't have time to look at the bait.
Or think.
That's what it's called the reaction bait for.
Yep.
It's like it's just a profile is more than anything.
Yeah, at that point, it's much more about weight and then the action in that bait that performs at that weight.
And that goes both ways, deep or shallow.
Yeah, what I would say if you're fishing a reaction bait, and that's what they're talking about to get reactions, I would think that the color has more to do with how accurately the fish hits your bait. Like if you're fishing really cloudy water using a chartreuse bait or a white bait or something like that, it'll just give the fish a better target to hit when it's reacting.
Right.
If you're using a green pumpkin bait, like it might miss it. It'll still react to it, but it might miss it because it can't see it as well.
So then you got that weird thing with the black.
and black shows up really well.
Black
But
is just straight
But
up
that's the only.
contrast,
I don't think that the color makes a difference in triggering a bite. I think
No.
it makes a difference maybe in how accurately that fish hits your bait.
Right.
That's the only thing that I think really matters.
It's like with
Yeah.
like super clear water and people put like a red hook on the back or something like that.
Yeah, it gives
Like,
them like a honing
Right.
point to yeah.
I used to take a red Sharpie and color on my jerkbaits, just on the gills,
It's a good idea.
especially on the light jerkbaits, like the light blue ones, with a little bit of red on there.
I dig it. So here's the thing, because
We've been
I did
talking
not
for
eat
too
that
long.
much for dinner, and you fed me 2 beers tonight, which thank you, by the way. I've been feeling really good, and I've not been paying attention to the time. I just realized it's 9:45. We've been at this
You
for
are
almost 2
correct.
hours. I think that's a good time to call it quits. We covered a lot tonight, and a lot of it was driven by
A
the
lot
chat.
of different things.
Dude, for everybody that's still here, like I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate when the majority of the discussion is driven by you guys asking questions and dropping comments. And I know we don't get to everything, but honestly, that's not a bad thing because we're not just like quick hitting and like responses and trying to hit everything. We're making sure we cover absolutely everything while still having fun the whole way through, and we try to get to everything after the fact. So I don't know, man. This was a hell of a lot of fun. I am so glad you could both come here tonight so that all 4 of us could be together to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is
Super
only
cool.
the second time we've been able to have 4
Thank you.
people in here while we're doing this.
Boom, boom.
And it worked. And with the new table in here,
One across.
it's get him.
Boom.
And then air high five from the end. Yahtzee. Okay.
I feel
This
like
was
Jesus hit my hand.
This was awesome. I don't know, man. That's it. Wrap it up. I have no idea what the hell we're going to do next week. I can tell you, though, I'm going to try and make next week really special because the following week, there is no stream because I'll be in Florida on vacation with my family. So there's not going to be an alternate night. There's going to be nothing because I'm going to be gone for a week. And I'm going to dedicate 100% focus on just the family and all the roller coasters and having an absolute blast with my 2 young boys. I'm extremely
coasters.
excited for this. All right, we're going to Universal Studios for
Oh
a
my
week.
god, I'm so jealous.
Oh, I thought you were talking about life.
I'm gonna
Well, yeah, that too. That's
There's
a
going to
never
be
ending
some emotional
friend.
roller coasters, but
I'm gonna sneak into your luggage.
It's 5 days of just both Universal Studios parks and Harry Potter Park, which
That sounds awesome.
I am a huge book nerd for people that don't know this. So I myself am extremely excited
my
about Harry
hood?
Potter World.
Oh.
What'd you say,
Hit up Jerry.
Jerry? What? I can't, Jerry. This is a family vacation.
you got to do a
How many?
spy
He
bait
has so many
topic.
boats, your whole family could go.
Everybody get your own boat.
One
It's
for
like at the
each,
end
yeah.
of Vegas vacation.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
Rusty, you take the Hummer and you take the Viper and you take this. Almost nobody here will get that reference, but
Uncle
that's
Eddie
okay.
gets Uncle Eddie gets the Corolla.
Eddie?
Yeah.
Eddie? Anyway, we'll be down there, and it'll be great. So I have no idea what the hell we're going to do next week,
What can we
but
do with one
we'll make it good. There's
a
going to be a
bullet and
ton of
rent a gun?
stuff to give away as well. Keep that in mind. For anybody that's still here that hasn't dropped a like on the stream, please do so before you go. And I appreciate you guys coming down, so thank you again. Follow DJ 3D_fishing on Instagram. You follow Dennis. He is Bass Fishing Dennis on Instagram. And then obviously Andrew and myself at Reel Northern Bass. And you can find that, like literally anywhere you search Reel Northern Bass, you'll find us. Andrew,
So yeah,
do your thing.
Peace.
Was it?
See ya.
we'll see you guys next week, like every week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/ReelNorthernBass. I freaking nailed it.
You did it!
First time ever.
Proud of
All right.
you.
We'll see you guys next week.